understand Malayalam here? One person. Is that okay? How is your Malayalam proficiency on a scale of 1 to 100? 2. Okay, that's bad. I guess I will mix a bit of Malayalam and English. The whole point why we have the logo in Malayalam is the thing because people like to talk in their native language a lot, in which I understood from my company of 50% Malayalis and 50% non-Malayalis. Okay, so welcome to Kochi FOSS. Who is here for the first time? A lot of first timers. Okay, even the speakers are also first timers. Okay. Okay, so we have been, this is a free software. So I've been, a couple of my friends here also, we've been active in free software for a long time. And I also grew up with the community event because in Thrissur, when I was like 17, I got to know that free software community exists. And I joined the meetup and I met a couple of friends and I did like very much active into long and free software communities in Kerala for like about 8 years now, I guess. So it's because these kind of community events kind of help me grow as a person and as a communicator as well. And I think these meetups are pretty good in that sense because we are doing it just for the fun of it, just for the free software part of it. We have no goals whatsoever, and that is kind of good, is what I would say, because we just want to do it for fun. And I think our fun kind of mixes with computers a lot. And I guess that's pretty much the basic introduction of Kochi FOSS. We are like people who have a lot of free time, and I guess we do this out of our free time. And
by any chance you told your name?
Oh yeah, my name is Subin, and yeah, Subin. And my username on profiles are usually /bin/su. Very lucky my parents named me Subin because I have a Linux file just from my name. So great. And today's agenda, yeah, before we start, thank you IBM for hosting us for the third time. This is the third time IBM is hosting us. First 2 times was in 2023 and 24, which was in the Trade Center building. And thank you again, Madhuri ma'am and Shibu for helping us a lot for the third time now. Thank you so much for hosting us. So in our agenda today, we have 3 talks. Surprisingly, this is the first time we have 3 talks coming from the venue itself. Usually we have somebody from external trying to who will have talks, which is also a bad idea because if we don't have talks, I don't think we can do these meetups. So I would suggest in audience members, if you have something cool or something interesting to talk about, please submit CFPs, and that will help us to go forward with these talks as well. And thanks to IBM, this is surprising because I've been submitting 3 talks for the first time, like all talks being coming from the venue itself. So that's also good and bad in 2 kind of ways. And yeah, we are also celebrating Debian Day and Debian Trixie release party. So Debian is an operating system which mostly people is very under-marketed because Ubuntu has taken over the top, and because Ubuntu is also taking it from Debian for people who don't know. And so usually Debian was started in 1993. Which is long back, so it's about 32 years now. And usually when Debian Day is celebrated on August 16th, because that is when the project was announced, Debian was one of the first distributions in Linux that you didn't need to compile software. So back then you had to compile software to use. Debian was the first system to introduce the concept of App Store. Like we have Play Store and App Store. Debian was the first in the computer world to introduce this concept of App Stores and to make software installation easier. And so it marks a very drastic change in the Linux world. So we celebrate Debian Day. Another good part of Debian is that everybody is a volunteer. People do it out of their free time, just like these meetups, which I think is one of the beautiful things about free software. And that is why people would take their time to celebrate Debian Day and not like Windows. Does anybody celebrate Windows in free software? I'm not sure. Because there is no point in that, right? So we are celebrating Debian Day, and we have been celebrating Debian Day in Kerala for like 5 years now because we have people to celebrate. And one other thing we are celebrating is Trixie's release party. So Debian releases every version about around 2 years. So the 13th version has been released now. It's called Trixie, which is a character from Toy Story. And Trixie, when the release also happens, we usually conduct release parties. So India had like 6-7 release parties, and Kochi one. So OS was released like 4 weeks ago. But since we had this meetup together, so we thought, hey, why not just celebrate it? So we'll be going to get a cake as well. This Ria just came to Ria. The cake is all set, right? Okay, so we'll get it delivered by 11 AM and then we'll cut it at the end. Okay, what else? Yeah, one more thing. Debian Day and Trixie is very suitable to celebrate at an IBM office because IBM's 2 versions, specifically S390X, which is the mainframe, and PowerPC, both architectures are only supported by Debian, Red Hat, Fedora, and some others. Which makes it this is a very good place to celebrate Debian, I would say. I was reading about IBM and I noticed that this is a very big mainframe, and on top of that you have virtual machines which are all running Linux. Very complicated stuff. It was very interesting to read that this was a thing. I was at DevConf in France and I met an IBM person there, and she was there specifically to convince Debian to keep supporting IBM so that the architecture stays alive. Okay. I guess that's pretty much it. We can now continue with the talks. We have the first talk from IBM itself, Harida and Ajas. Harida and Ajas are both part of the Vaccinax team, and they're going to talk about Presto. We had a talk about Presto previously in one of our IBM meetings as well. So they're going to, it's a talk of continuation from that talk of how they're contributing more now to Presto. So let's invite them. Thank you. Screen
time out आएगा അത് കട്ട്
റീലോഡ് ചെയ്യണം
ഡിസ്കണക്ട് ചെയ്തിട്ട് റീലോഡ് എന്നിട്ട് Okay.
Hi, good morning. So, as Subin said, this is my first time at Kochi FOSS, and both embarrassed and overwhelmed by the energy that I see around the room. So, I didn't expect this many people to be in this room exactly, because I saw some old YouTube videos of previous meetup. I just saw some around 20 people. So my bad, maybe the camera angle does not, so I can bring it. So yeah, thanks for the introduction, Subin. So me and Rajas, we both are from the what's.next.data team in IBM myself. So we have been there for around 3 years, and yeah, this is a very niche topic. I was talking to Mark and Subin when I came in. So this might be a little boring for you. I'm just warning you guys ahead. But we'll try to kind of make it as fun as it's possible, yeah? So, yeah, that's okay. So this is what we are going to talk about today. So maybe we'll start with a simple reality check, like you can think about all your personal data, right? So it's kind of spread across all your gadgets, your laptop, phone, maybe in some cloud storage, some in your hard disks. So if you want to, let's say, find the photo of yours from 2010, it's going to be a difficult task. I find myself in such scenarios often. So now think you are a data analyst. All the data that you want to use is sitting in all sorts of places. Some might be in some warehouse, data warehouse. Some might be in a cloud data lake. Some might be still stuck in some traditional database, right? And if you want to run a query that kind of touches it all, it's kind of going to be a difficult task. And there is a traditional way of doing it, it's called ETL. You might be heard of ETL, extract, transform, and load. So basically you would copy the data around to one single place. You would kind of run some transformations which will make it to a commonly readable format. Then you will kind of build pipelines to copy the data, continuously and maintain the duplicates. It's going to be a painful, time-consuming, and most importantly, an expensive task. Yeah. So this was the problem, and we had a solution because someone finally thought there should be a better way of doing it, right? And the solution was query the data where it lives, right? So that was the problem and the solution, and that idea turned into a massively scalable query engine, which is called Presto. And at the heart of the Presto is a basic SQL interface, which can talk to data sitting in multiple data sources, speak their own language. It acts as a universal translator, I could say. So as a user, you would just write in a simple SQL query, select star from a table. Okay, it depends on the connector, the data source underlying the Presto. Presto will do the translation for you. You don't have to write queries depending on the data source. Okay, so that was the idea behind Presto. So yeah, we had the problem and the solution. So it was developed at Facebook and open sourced in 2013. So Meta, as we call it now, and Uber was some of the founding members of Presto. Okay, and it is now being used really widely by a lot of big players that we know, like Uber, LinkedIn, Netflix, Meta. You know, there are so many big companies that are using it, and in petabyte scale. That is one of the, yeah. So that's one of the, it can be scaled very massive scale, horizontally it can scale, and the speed at which people need to run analytic queries, Presto can support it. Now the first point we have already covered, and the same thing. Yeah. So we call queries that have multiple databases in the same query. We call them federated queries. You are going to hear this term a lot in this presentation. So federated query means we are doing a select query which has some filters from, let's say, a database, MySQL database, then an Oracle, then a Postgres, maybe some iceberg or Hive that is sitting in a cloud storage. All right. So federated analytics, that's one of the main strengths of Presto. Then very strong open source community. It's being a very actively contributed a strong community which kind of which is kind of very encouraging to work on, I would say. And IBM actually, yeah, IBM joined the Presto Foundation, Open Source Foundation in 2023 by the acquisition of Ahana, which was a company which had strong presence in the open source community of Presto. So in 2023, Presto officially joined. It was using Presto in other components, but officially IBM joined the Presto Foundation in 2023. And I think, as Subin said, some of our colleagues had come here and talked about the early contributions to Presto from IBM. But even since then, we have been actively working on many security and optimization sides of Presto. And yeah. Okay. I know this might be a little boring, but we have to go through it. Simply saying that Presto has two personalities. So this is a high-level architecture. So one is the coordinator. You can think of a coordinator as a project manager. I guess there are no managers in this room. Okay. So manager means they don't actually do the real work, but they are going to. So it does the planning. That is the most difficult part, according to some. So it does the planning. It decides who should do what, right? So that is the coordinator, and then there are workers. So yeah, that's about the hierarchy architecture. We don't have to go much into that. Okay, I'll just go through this. This is a routine that I have to perform. So let's say I said the heart of the Presto is the SQL interface, right? But the client writes a query. So it hits at the coordinator. Okay, I don't know what to. So the query hits. It's not happening in its HTTP request. Okay, so it comes into coordinator where it does a lot of tedious tasks like it parses the query. It kind of forms a logical structure of the query, which we call as the query plan. Then it kind of breaks it into stages, which is again you can call it as unit of tasks that ultimately the database actions are going to be a task. So it kind of plans how this query should run. Then it kind of picks up some worker nodes which are available, and then it sends the plan to the workers. So this is what happens. Now, the magic of the Presto lies in the question: how should we run the query? What should be the plan? Because A query could run in 2 seconds and fetch the data, or it could run for minutes or hours and return the same data. The difference is how it is planned. Okay. So the brain behind the Presto's ability to optimize queries is the Presto Optimizer Excel. So it's like you can think of it like Google Maps but for queries. Okay, so what does Google Maps do? So if you want to get from point A to point B, it would give a lot of options. Probably, in theory, it is supposed to give us the best route, right? Okay, so similar thing. It decides how can I easily or without much memory usage, how can I execute this query? Okay, so that's the idea. So in that decision, there are a lot of considerations. So there are multiple types of optimizations available in Presto. One is cost-based optimization and one is role-based optimization. Cost-based means it will actually look at the data. Okay, so what will be the cost of running a query like this with the actual data, like the number of rows? It would consider the number of rows in a table, actual database, and then decide, is this going to be a better way of running this query? So one example I could tell you, if a multiple complicated join query comes in, okay. So if you can decide or find the join condition which will filter out most of the rows and execute that at the front, then you are left with a smaller data set, which will further go into the next stage, and overall data that goes into Presto's memory will be less. Okay, so the order in which certain tasks are performed can decide whether this query is going to be better performing or not. Okay, so that is one thing which kind of considers the actual data that is there in the database. So that is cost-based optimization, but it is going to be a little more complicated because the underlying database has to support that. Okay, that database should be capable of giving the statistics. Okay, so we are talking about rule-based optimizations today, because that's where we have done the changes. So rule-based optimizations is like a predefined set of rules. Okay, I'm just trying to say, so I have a pattern written in my code which says if a filter comes before a join, okay, or a filter and join comes together, this is the pattern I have written. So if a filter and join comes, you should do something, some kind of an optimization. So every query comes in and this particular optimizer looks for this pattern, and if that pattern is found, then it will do some kind of magic and you are supposed to get a better plan. Okay, so that is rule-based optimizer. I can give a little bit more examples maybe. So one is predicate pushdown. So again, the pushdown term you are going to hear a lot. Pushdown basically means letting the hard work, letting the database do the hard work. Okay, if there is a complicated filter criteria or some kind of an operation which the database is more capable of doing, or if the database is better at it, then Presto doesn't do it itself. It will let the database do the operation and get the partial results back into the Presto memory. So how Presto is done is, because we said at the start, it is mostly doing federated queries, which means it is running queries across data sources, right? So what Presto does is, Presto will fetch the data from data source and it will stitch together a result in its own memory, which is going to take a lot of time and memory when the data is large and the query is complicated. So in that case, these kind of pushdowns are going to help, because Presto will be Presto will get some of the results already pre-cooked from the database. Then Presto just have to stitch all those things in the memory. Then there are some pushdowns. Ajas will talk more about that. Then there are simplifications or column rolling and all those things, which basically means if a query contains only 2-3 columns, there is no need to fetch all the column data into memory. So things like that. So there will be some predefined set of rules which Presto will run on every query plan, which can, it's like a heuristic thing. Presto is not trying to get the absolute best plan. It's just trying to optimize in whatever way it is possible. And yeah, then there is join optimization. Joins is the bread and butter of data analytics. So we are mostly talking about joins here, and that's where our contribution to open source also comes in. Yeah. So I'll stop here and let others take you through more details of this. Yeah, thank you.
Hello everyone, good morning. Yeah, I would like to share a little bit about me first. So I started my career in 2011 in Java domain. Currently I am working at IBM on versus data, specifically looking in cluster engine and counter side. I am actively contributing to Oasis Cluster since the last 2 years, where I got a good opportunity to work with global contributors and optimize cluster engine. Yeah, today I am talking about a recent contribution that we did in Oasis Cluster. It's called Join Pushdown. Yeah, as Hadra explained, we are able to use Presto engine to get data from distributed data sources, and we are able to perform different kind of analytics operation on this data. So Presto is basically used for data analytic operation, and we are able to use that. Here we are going to understand how Presto is executing a join query and what are the changes that we did in join execution as part of our PR or our OSS contribution. So here if you look, here we have one join query. Table 1, in this join query we have 3 tables, table 1, table 2 and table 3. Consider these tables contains 10 million records. In each table we have 10 million records, and this join query will provide 50 records as a response. That means very less record, 50 records as a join result. If this query passed to Presto without our join pushdown, then this is the execution model. So once the Presto gets this join query, Presto will create table scanner for each table. Here we have 3 tables, so Presto will create 3 table scanner corresponding to each table. And this table scan, using this table scan, Presto will scan all the rows from corresponding table. So for table 1, we have a table scanner. Using this table scanner, Presto will scan remote data sources and fetch 10 million records corresponding to table 1 and keep in memory. Likewise, it will scan another 10 million records from table 2 and keep in Presto memory. And using the table scan 3, it will fetch all the records from table 3 and keep in memory. So finally, Presto have 30 million records in memory, and Presto use a join node. Using that join node, it will perform the actual join operation and it will return the join result. So this is the conventional Presto execution related to a join. Now we are going to understand what are the changes we did in this execution as part of our contribution. So here we are taking the same query which contains 3 tables. Each table contains 10 million records, and this join query will return 50 records as a response. So after enabling join pushdown in Presto, when we send this query to Presto, Presto will create a special scanner which is called join table scanner. In this join table scanner, it will contain all the information related to the table which are used for the join. Here we have 3 tables, so this join table scanner contains 3 tables. Using this join table scanner, Presto will create a join query. Using that join query, Presto invoke the remote data source, and the remote data source will execute the join query and will respond back its result. So here Presto will have only 50 records in Presto only. Previously, in our conventional case, it was 30 million records. Now it is only 50 records. That is the difference. So for implementing this join pushdown, we created one optimizer. That optimizer is responsible for grouping table based on the character and creating the join table scanner and creating the join query and pushing out the database. So if you look here, or if you understand join pushdown, it is based on the character. That means tables are grouped based on the character. For example, in my join query, if I have tables from Oracle, I have many tables. If I have a lot of tables from DB2, then this optimizer first group all the table based on the data source. That means under Oracle, it will group all the tables from Oracle. Under DB2, it will group all the tables from DB2. Then using the grouped table, it will create a join table scanner. That means for Oracle, it will create a join table scanner, and for DB2, it will create another table scanner. Using this table scanner, it will create join query, and this join query will be executed in the corresponding database, either on Oracle or DB2. After getting the response, Presto will federate the result, or Presto will process on the response to generate the actual result. That is the join push that we did. Yeah. So we already submitted, or we already worked on all these fundamental support for join push in OSS Presto. It is live in OSS Presto. Yeah. Here it explains what is the exact definition of join push or push down. Yeah. If you look on this, push down is the process of transferring the entire query or portion of the query to the underlying data source for its processing. By doing join push down, we have a lot of benefits. The first benefit is it improves performance of join query. Most of the time, we will get a better performance if the database is highly optimized. That I need to say. Second point is reduce network traffic between the Presto engine and remote data source. Yeah, in our conventional case, we need to get or we need to fetch 30 million records from the remote data source. When we implement join push down, it needs to fetch only 50 records in our case. So we can reduce network traffic. Another thing is we are able to offload the processing to the remote data sources. Another feature is that we can reduce cost by reducing the number of heat. If you consider a SaaS environment, something like SaaS Netisa database, it is priced based on the number of heat most of the time. In our previous case or conventional case, for a simple query, simple join query, it has 3 tables, so we need to fetch or we need to heat Netisa database 3 times. But if you use the join, it will create a join query and we are only heating the join query only one time. So number of heat is reduced and we are able to save cost. These are the performance improvements that we observed in our environment when we use join push down. Here DB2 provide 10x performance improvement and Progress database provide 5x performance improvement and the frontier query provide 5x performance improvement compared to normal execution. Here it is very evident different databases provide different performance improvement. Why it is? It is because when we enable join push down, the performance is based on underlying database capability. Here, the DB2 database is highly optimized for performing join operation. That's why we get a better performance. Yeah. So there is only one question we will get, or we have one question in our mind, whether we get a better performance for all the join by enabling join push down. The simple answer is no. So for getting a better performance, we need to follow some condition, or the join query should be false in some condition. The first condition is that all the tables should be in the ADBC data source. The second thing is that we need to use the join push down capability when we have a limited number of records as a join result, instead of getting all the records or instead of getting cross join. Then we have some condition, it is taking for inner join and it is taking for some join predicate, because we need to restrict the number of response from the join query. So we validating these items. If we have all these conditions, we will get a better performance. Also, it is based on the database. If the database is highly optimized and enough memory to work with join query, then we will get a better performance. Yeah. Now, once enabling a join push down capability in Presto, and after running a query, how a user is able to understand whether this is going for a join push down or it is going with a normal purpose to execution. It is based on using the SQL explain command. If we use the explain command and the explain command provide number of join queries in the plan as same as the our original query, then it says there is no push node happen. If there is no join node in the plan, in the execution plan, that means complete push node happen. There is no join. All the tables are directly pushing down using the table scanner. That means a complete push node happen. If the number of join is less than the original query, that means partial push node is happening. That is related to how we are able to understand how push node happen for our query. Yeah, we have created one RFC. This is already merged to the OSS cluster. Then the PR details are also there. The foundation code is already merged into the OSS. It is live. Then there is some connector level change also. It is specific to each connector, so we are completing that also very soon. But it is not completed now. It is just open now under review. Yeah, that's all from my side. I think I explained the contribution that related to our OSS. Yeah, now it is question time.
So, does Presto has got a local store in order to cache the data?
Presto uses in memory.
Okay.
It is not copying data from. It is not. We need not transfer data from one source to another. It just fetch data from remote data source and it keep in Presto memory. Using Presto memory data, it will perform the different operation.
But the query which you mentioned, that 30 million records, okay, that won't fit even in the virtual memory, right?
Yeah, in Presto memory, it will keep in Presto memory.
Yeah, so we don't cache the data. Presto has some caching, but that is mostly on the metadata. Table metadata is cached, that you can enable the caching, but data, no, we cannot cache the data.
The reason why I asked is then how cost-based optimizer works.
So that is the connector has to give a layout of every table or the data structure that is there in the database. So the connector level you have to develop some structures to say this is how the data is going to look. So then you have certain pluggable components that will fetch the table statistics. You will have some reserved tables just to store the table statistics and all. So that is a different thing. So that is very pluggable. So only certain connectors will have that feature. Not every connector will Presto. I mean, not all databases that can be connected to Presto will have the table statistics feature.
So how does it work? Okay, you saw a lot of relational databases. All of them will have some kind of an adapter to Presto, or okay, you are just making a relay DDB sequence.
Actually, the point is that Presto uses its own query. It is a standard SQL. So using Presto maybe a universal standard SQL, we are able to perform query from different data sources. If I have DB2, Oracle, or Postgres, we are using the same query. Presto then create a planner, and based on this plan, it will create different SQLs that is supported by different databases. That query is sending to that corresponding databases, and it will fetch the data. So that data will all the data from different countries are fetching to the Presto memory. Then on top of Presto memory, Presto engine will apply the conditions. Maybe filter condition, join condition, all these things apply in Presto engine side. So in your question, how cost optimization is happening now? Basically, the performance delay normally happening in the remote collecting data from remote data source. So once we get the statistics, something like how much record or what are the row count of each table. Based on that row count, we can create a reordering of join. For example, a user provide a join like join table 1 to join 2. So that means first is coming join 1 in my query, join 2 is in the second place. But after cost analysis, Presto understood that if we join table 2 with the table 1, if we change the order, it will get a less amount of data from the remote data source. So that is the cost of optimization. For understanding the cost, Presto needs the statistics that static information will get from the database.
One last question again. So, does Presto come with JDBC drivers for all these things?
Yes.
Is it as part of the installation?
Yes. Yeah. Presto has its own native driver as well as specific drivers. If you look on the IBM Presto, we are using Parsons data. Parsons data, we are able to use Presto engine. We have different, it is not in open source, it is specific to IBM. In open source, we have native connector which is specific to each database. For Oracle, we need to use Oracle driver, but it is inbuilt in Presto. It is available in Presto. If we consider the Presto, IBM Presto, or Presto which is used in Parsons data, here we have some kind of modern data connector. One is Arrow connector, another one is GFS, and that will be releasing. GFS is releasing, I think, this November, but Arrow is only there. If we use this connector, we are able to use any database. We need to just provide the database connection details. It will work for all the database. The same configuration.
So that means they are having their own parallel protocol, means they understand the parallel protocol.
Yes.
Thank you.
Just to add, this info might be useful. So we said 30 million records in the memory, right? So it's not going to happen in one single node. So I said there are worker nodes, right? So this query plan, it's kind of divides the whole execution into, let's say, 20 stages. It sends to, let's say, there are 10 workers. So this whole data is not going to be there in one node's memory. It's going to be spread across all these workers, and then the data gets interchanged, shuffled between these worker nodes based on when they are pulled up from the database. It's going to be communication between the worker nodes, and then only the 50 records will actually come in one node's memory. So it's going to be spread across all the workers.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Is it offer asynchronous support or something?
No, Presto is basically for real-time query. Having said that, the data preparation happens asynchronously. It's just like you think of like a database CLI tool. You can think of that.
Yeah, but we can configure workers in Presto, and that is useful for parallel processing. As Aida said, Presto have a coordinator. She said about some managerities, but I am not sure about that. But Presto has a coordinator. So using that coordinator, we are able to add multiple workers. Maybe in our production, I think around 100 workers is there. So coordinator will create split or divide the work. For example, I am trying a cell star from some database. So if that database contains 1 lakh record, so I have 10 workers there. So the coordinator will split these query into different workers, and that worker is specifically looking for a batch of records in the database. That is the concern theoretically. So that is possible also. It is doing, or it is also available in Presto. Asynchronous thing, I am not sure. Are you?
Parallel processing is there?
Yeah. What is mean by asynchronous?
For example, if I want to take data from 1 DB, by the time it fetches, it's like looking for it, and I have another query also, maybe from another DB. Will it look that and like?
Yeah, and that is possible, but mostly Presto is used. For example, we need to use CLA or UA, and we need to run this query using this ULA or CA. So when it happens through the UA, once we execute that query, the result set is showing in some area. So yeah, that is possible when we are able to execute multiple query, and the result set will be showing for the result. The result area will show for the each query. Yeah, that is possible.
Postgresന് കണക്ഷൻ ലിമിറ്റ് ഉണ്ടല്ലോ. എനിക്ക് ആ പോസ്റ്റ് അങ്ങനെ ഉദ്ദേശിച്ചില്ലേ. പോസ്റ്റ്ഗ്രസിന് കണക്ഷൻ ലിമിറ്റ് ഉണ്ടോ? ഒരു പരിധി കണക്ഷൻസ് ഏത് ക്ലയന്റ് ഉപയോഗിക്കുകയാണെങ്കിൽ കട്ടായി പോകും.
50 മില്യൺ റെക്കോർഡ്സ് എടുത്തു. അപ്പോൾ അത് ഫെച്ച് ചെയ്ത് 1 മിനിറ്റ്. I know it's not that long. 1 മിനിറ്റ് എടുക്കും. അപ്പോൾ ആ 1 മിനിറ്റിനുള്ളിൽ മറ്റേ
വേറൊരു അപേക്ഷ ചെയ്യുകയാണെങ്കിൽ
വേറൊരു ഫെച്ചിങ് കൂടെ നടക്കും.
No. We can invoke multiple query, but if it is a single query, In a join, we have multiple tables. Okay. So fetching data from multiple tables or that query considered as a single thing, and that query will be executed as a single threaded. Not single threaded, it will be a single thing. But if
multiple queries can run at the same time, is that the question?
സാധാരണ ഡാറ്റാബേസ് പോലെ തന്നെ മൾട്ടിപ്പിൾ ക്വയറീസ് പാരലലി റൺ ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുമായിരുന്നു.
അല്ല ഇപ്പോഴത്തെ ജാവ ഡാറ്റാബേസ് കണക്ടിവിറ്റിക്ക് ഫ്ലക്സ് മോണോ എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞിട്ട് റിയാക്റ്റീവ് ഡ്രൈവേഴ്സ് ഉണ്ട്.
reactive, but we are able to execute in multiple query at the same time.
ഒരു ഡാറ്റാബേസ് ഷാർഡഡ് a single database could be sharded. Our 25 million records in Kochi and the other 25 is literal. So how does that?
ഡാറ്റാബേസ് ഷാർഡ് ആണെങ്കിൽ ഒരു സെന്റർ കൊച്ചിയിലും വേറെ ഷാർഡ് തിരുവനന്തപുരത്ത് ആണെങ്കിൽ that should be working.
That is related to database. That is related to database, not related to cluster. We are using its connection only. The sharding and partitioning it is based on the database. How it is managing database.
Also, by saying databases like number posters, if you want logical partitions, you can create two different catalogs. So there are two concepts. One is connector, one is catalog. Connector means JDBC connector, DB2, Postgres, Oracle, right? So that is a connector. It's like basically the driver that we are using to connect to a database. So same connector which we can create multiple catalogs. So if you need a logical partition of the data, you can create a catalog named let's say a catalog 1, which can be used for a specific purpose, which can be located in one place as you say, and you can create another catalog pointing to same database and use that catalog for other purposes. That partition basis is the thing.
ഈ കാറ്റലോഗ് എന്ന വ്യൂ കോൺസെപ്റ്റ് പോലെയാണോ?
Kind of. It's like the connection mostly. It's like creating different connections to the same database. Catalog means the connection interface that we are using for the database from Presto.
Anand, you have
I assume that Presto supports NoSQL libraries. So this pushdown is
pushdown join query NoSQL.
query specifically, but
Yeah, Presto support all kind of databases. It support NoSQL, it support object store, and it support JDBC. So this pushdown is only supported for JDBC. That's why we use the JDBC pushdown. Yeah, other kind of pushdown is not there. Currently, it is not there. Maybe.
not join.
Other pushdowns
Yes. Yeah, we are able to push down predicates. If we provide some filter condition, that is called predicate. That filter condition we are able to push down to the underlying data source. Yeah, it is also possible for object store also.
And one more thing, how much time did you guys take to plan out or get approval from the community?
that is the hard bit. So I think we started it last December. So the foundation was quite difficult to get through because they had to approve the design. So that's what Ajas was mentioning about the RFC. So we submit an RFC, which is like a request for comments, with all the design level details. It's like a document where we lay out our design or our proposal for this problem. We come up with a solution. We raise a RFC PR first. So there will be code owners and module level owners. For optimizer, there are some set of people who are who decides what should get into the voices. So they go through the RFC. They will have comments. So it took around 6 months for us to get the foundation support in Presto. I'm not saying that is the usual time frame. This is even though it looks very boring, this is at the heart of the Presto because every query goes through this whole stuff, and some queries that are performing well can degrade if it doesn't work well. So this took some 6 months, and we are still in the review stage for some of the connector level changes as well.
There is no timeline to get RFC approved. RFC since it is a design document, we first need to provide our design document, which is called RFC in Presto. So we can share this thing, but if it is a simple thing, it will get approved early. But if it is related to engine, here it was related to engine, so there is lot of scrutiny there, right? even though we created RFC, we need to create they asked us to provide a prototype. So we created a prototype, then we executed these things. Then only they approved that RFC. If it is in inside. But I think, yeah, it is based on the mindset that the code owners. Currently, they have different module. Here, if we are working with the engine team, they need to approve our RFC, then we need to create our PR code change.
എനിക്ക് ഭയങ്കര ബേസിക് ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ. ഇപ്പോൾ പല ഡാറ്റാബേസിൽ കണക്ട് ചെയ്യാൻ വേണ്ടി പറഞ്ഞല്ലോ, പലതിനും ചിലപ്പോൾ സ്കീമ ഡിഫറെൻ്റ് ആയിരിക്കും. അപ്പോൾ നിങ്ങൾ ക്വയറി എഴുതുമ്പോൾ സാധാരണ SQL ക്വയറി ആണോ, ഡു യു സ്പെസിഫൈ ഈ ഡാറ്റാബേസിൽ മൈഗ്രേഷൻ അനുസരിച്ച് രണ്ട് സെപ്പറേറ്റ് വെച്ച് അതുകൊണ്ട് യൂണിഫൈ ചെയ്തിട്ടായിരിക്കും ഔട്ട്പുട്ട് വരുന്നുണ്ടാവുക, അങ്ങനെയല്ലേ?
For executing query in Presto, we need to follow some standard. First, we need to provide the catalog name. Catalog name, we will just explain that it is a name corresponding to the data source. So we need to provide the catalog name, then we need to provide schema name. After that, we need to provide the table. That means catalog.schema.table name specifies a single table. So that we can use. Yeah, schema is there.
But you can use the normal ANSI SQL. From the as a user perspective, you can use the plain SQL. First, does the conversion. Depending upon the result, like if you are using an object
We
storage,
need to
right?
prefix schema. That's the answer.
ഫസ്റ്റ് സ്വന്തമായിട്ട് SQL സിന്റാക്സ് ഉണ്ട്.
Yes.
No. It's a normal SQL. It is a normal SQL.
ചിലപ്പോൾ പറയുന്നത് PostgreSQL MySQL ആണെങ്കിലും അവർ ചില ഡിഫറൻസസ് അവിടെ.
Yeah, that is already published. Presto support all the standard SQL, but if it is not supporting, if there is something
Specific.
that is subset of standard SQL which is not supported by Presto, that is already published.
ഓക്കെ, ഞാൻ പറയുമ്പോൾ ഇപ്പോൾ PostgreSQL ക്വയറി MySQL ക്വയറി ഇതിന് രണ്ട് ചില സ്കീമ വ്യത്യാസമായിരിക്കും, കോളംസ് ഡിഫറെൻ്റ് ആവാം, അങ്ങനെ. അപ്പോൾ നമ്മൾ സ്പെസിഫിക് ക്വയറീസ് അങ്ങനെ യൂണിഫൈ ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുന്നതാണോ, അതോ ഡു യു എക്സ്പെക്ട് ദ സ്കീമ ടു ബി കൈൻഡ് ഓഫ് സെയിം?
No. We can use any.
Let's say column name is different.
Okay, the data is custom to the every
Right.
client will have different things, right?
Right. So യൂണിഫൈഡ് ആയിട്ടാണ് ഔട്ട്പുട്ട് വരുന്നുണ്ടാവുള്ളൂ. ഇത് രണ്ടിന്റെയും
No, we can represent every query using the catalog name and schema. So even though you have same schema in Postgres and in different table or different database, or even though you have the same schema, same table, which is present in different database, you need to use the catalog name. So there is a distinction.
അല്ല, അവിടെ ആ ഫീൽഡ് നെയിം എന്ത് ചെയ്യും? ഫീൽഡ് നെയിം ഒന്നാണെന്നല്ലേ, ഇപ്പൊ നെയിം ഫസ്റ്റ് നെയിം എന്നൊക്കെ പറഞ്ഞിരിക്കും.
That is not a problem. It will handle by the Presto. It is based on the projection. It is only handled by Presto. Yeah, that means if I have a name field in two database, maybe employee database or maybe student database. If I am using the select from that thing, the select query itself, we need to provide alias. Then only we are able to execute that query. So that is clear. That is.
My question is, if one field is photo, another field is picture, and like he said, okay, it is in two. How will you? But like as a user, you are not aware about the schema of the underlying database, right?
So no. We are aware of
So
that.
person should understand it.
Yes. It's up to the user to write the actual right query.
Yeah, actually, it is a normal SQL.
People have to understand the base table.
ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞപ്പോൾ സ്റ്റുഡന്റിന്റെ എംപ്ലോയിയും പറഞ്ഞല്ലോ, എനിക്ക് വേണമെങ്കിൽ ഒരു രണ്ട് ഡാറ്റാബേസ് സെപ്പറേറ്റ് ആണ്. ഐ വാണ്ട് ടു ഗെറ്റ് ദ നെയിംസ് ഓഫ് ഓൾ സ്റ്റുഡന്റ് ആൻഡ് എംപ്ലോയീസ്. പക്ഷെ സ്റ്റുഡന്റ് ടേബിളിൽ നെയിമിന്റെ പേര് എ നെയിം എന്നും മറ്റേത് ബി നെയിം ആണെന്നിരിക്കും. അതാ സ്കീം അറിയാം. അപ്പൊ ഞാനത് ക്വയറി പ്രസ്റ്റോർ എഴുതുമ്പോൾ ഐ വാണ്ട് ദ ഫീൽഡ് ടു ബി നെയിം. എ നെയിം ബി നെയിം ആണ്.
അല്ല, അത് റീനെയിം ചെയ്യല്ല, ഫീൽഡ് റീനെയിം ചെയ്യാം. പക്ഷേ വാട്ട് യു സേ ഈസ് ദാറ്റ് യു ഷുഡ് അണ്ടർസ്റ്റാൻഡ് ദി അണ്ടർലൈൻ സ്കീം.
You can write the query in such a way that you get the output.
Output is the same.
You can rename as.
അങ്ങനെ NoSQL ആണെങ്കിൽ ഔട്ട്പുട്ട് സ്ട്രക്ചർ ഒക്കെ എങ്ങനെ വെച്ചാലും യൂണിഫൈഡ് കിട്ടും. സോ യു ഡോണ്ട് നീഡ് ടു അണ്ടർലൈൻ ദി മേക്ക് സെൻസ്. Sir, any other questions?
I'll just add a few things. So I'm RD program director in data, analytics platform. I'm not directly connected to what they're doing, but this is this works make us all of us actually really proud that this side of the world can do latest and greatest of the technology. I was talking to Mark as well. So I just want to connect the dots maybe a minute. So what we spoke about here is on the Presto side of things, right? So this is part of the Watson X data, which is one of the significant components in the Watson X product portfolio. Okay, and what it does is that it enables the organizations to analyze, query, and then performance and you can, I mean, wherever the data resides, your query engine will take care of it and things like that. Think of it as like a powerhouse for your AI and analytics workloads, right? What I just wanted to add on is that in the what's next data, we use a lot of open source components, right? So in the query engine side of things, they use this Presto, then Spark,
is
right?
there.
And on the data file formats, they use Iceberg or open file formats and other things, right? And the database standpoint, the vector database, they use Milvus, right? And then orchestrate side of things, I think use Qflow, PyTorch, those kind of things as well. So I just wanted to say the power of open source. All of us are here because of that common thread of the power of the open source, right? So IBM is a strong advocate, and you see the kind of contributions they are making back to the community. So I just wanted to say a few things to connect the dots there.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, I guess we can. Thank you, Heather and Adas. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, we have an AI block. So Nitish is a software at IBM, a software dev at IBM. The some developers kind of act like software.
Yeah.
Okay. So Nitish is going to do a talk on Hive. It's a multi-agent AI orchestrator, and I think so his bio was pretty simple. Software dev at IBM. Okay, anyway, thank you Nitish for that. Claps, please.
Hello. So good morning, and about me, considering the about the venue, I'm a developer at IBM, and I work in IBM Controller product. And it's okay if you haven't heard about it because it's a kind of an enterprise-grade software, and it's only concerned if you haven't heard about it if you are a CF of a multi-billion-dollar company. Okay. Now about the community, I love free things. Not just the software, free food, free snacks, free goodies, everything. So from my college days itself, I used to attend all kind of these developer conferences and meetups and everything like that. And I was also given back in some form of sessions as well. And this is my first time giving back to Kochi FOSS community as well. And okay, the topic which I choose for today is BI ecosystem, and this is not something which I have worked on or developed on. This is something which I feel that receives some appreciation from the community, especially when the ecosystem is moving towards all the ChatGPT and land chain kind of things. So I respect all the small contributions from all the creations and technologies as well. And so there are some MCP world, ACP world, this kind of comparisons there. So I'm not here to prove that something is better than something else. Just want to make users aware of something is available here as well. Okay. When we start about the BI ecosystem, so and technology is evolving very rapidly, and we have a lot of tools developed day by day by different companies and all. Now, when you invent new things, new problems are also arising. So to solve such problems, we need to find new solutions as well. Now, the AI ecosystem is actually a combination of three parts: the framework, the platform, and something called XCP as well. So we'll move on to that. Now, as I said, the ecosystem is rapidly exploding with every company is bringing their own tools, platforms, frameworks, productivity tools which we can use in other software tools. There might be power AI agents, voice, engineers, everything kind of thing. So imagine if you are developing an electric car, considering your conventional petrol-based cars. So now there's all, you don't need to use fuel. You can have your car running on electricity. But now new power analysis. How do you refill your car just like you refill your petrol? So when you develop new kind of AI agents and everything, now the complexity is actually increasing. There are a lot of options available in the market. Now what do I choose to use? And if I'm strict, I like one feature of this product, but I don't want to use their product in my other use cases. So I want to use a different vendor's product and a different vendor's product for other scenario. So how I can actually connect both of these things. So that is where we things are being challenge, and the problem is simple. When you are building agents, you are having some kind of a messy thing because each vendor or each framework provider has their own scripts and their own rules to create a particular agent. So you need to learn their way of doing the AI agent first. And it is not also intuitive also because if you are converted, you are forced to learn one framework, you may not be flexible to learn another framework as well. And as a developer, I also want to find another changes being made in the framework as well. I want the things to be developed under my will, not just the rules enforced by the framework provider. Next, if I am developing a particular agent in one framework, I want them to communicate to the next. Yeah.
Screen share on the world. This Microsoft slides on
PPT.
Screen share വരുന്നത് ഈ വിൻഡോ മാറ്റാതെ അങ്ങനെ ഫുൾ ആയിട്ട് കിട്ടാൻ നോക്കണം.
ഓക്കേ.
ഇത് ഈ ഓപ്ഷൻ കളഞ്ഞിട്ട് ഇത് ആ സ്ക്രീൻ ആക്കാൻ പറ്റും. അത് ഒഴിവാക്കി.
Oh, now the third one. If you develop on some particular agents, now you need your colleagues to try it out. So, for example, if you have developed a particular agent, now I want you to try it out. I cannot just give all the scripts and ask them to you download all these things, run this script, and you will be able to run this agent. But that's not really a good method to share your things like, especially when you're in an organization. If one team is developing a particular group of agents and they want that to be used or tested by some another group of people, this kind of a friction is there. So to solve all these problems, we have something called AI. This ecosystem, it consists of three parts: the agent framework, the platform, and the common protocol for the agent communication protocol. So I have tried to get it simple so that you will be able to understand it really better, not diving deep into all these things, but I'll just go through an overview of what all these things are. Now, agent framework is nothing but something which you use to develop an agent from the scratch. You'll be having a set of rules, just like LangChain or anything, any kind of frameworks. But doesn't mean that you need to use agent framework for the ecosystem. It is independent. If you have a platform and SCP, that is fine. You don't need to develop your agent using an agent framework. The only purpose of the agent framework is that it integrates seamlessly with the platform itself. Now, before I tell about the frameworks, why do we need a framework? So if you are developing an AI agent from the scratch, you need to handle many things like security, like caching, the routing, all these things need to be, you need to do it at hand, you need to hardcode everything within yourself, you need to learn about all these things. So if you have something pre-cooked for you, you just need to focus on the business logic inside the server. So that is where the frameworks come into use. The PAA frameworks simply use it for multi-agent development, and we also have the Python SDK and the TypeScript SDK as well. And it's also browser agnostic. You don't have to stick to a particular LLM like OpenAI or anything. You can use your LLM of your own choice. And it also has observability inbuilt as well. If you just need to turn on the option, it is not enabled by default. That's all. Now the main thing which connects multi-agents is the communication protocol. So we have something called MCP, something called MCP, and we have something called ACP, right? So it's just whatever protocol, but they differ in terms of how we are using them. MCP is just to give a context to a model. I'm giving hands to a model. You can access external tools, you can access external databases, external sites to put in some context or do some actions. Like I want to create a Jira ticket, I need to send a mail. So these kind of operation hands are given by MCP. But ACP is given to talk with one agent to another agent. It's like giving a handshake to another person. So they need to understand. So it's kind of a standard. It's a protocol where you're actually communicating with two agents. Now this follows a client server architecture where you are having a server in the backend and you have a client who you are talking to, the user I'm talking to. Now the client will go and request the server and get the information from them and server does the thing. And it's also REST based. Unlike we have A2A from Google, it is a gRPC based, now it is REST based, which means that it is much more easy to integrate into an existing system. Simple HTTP is very fast, low latency, and it's also best for HTML cases as well. And similar to the framework, it also has Python and SDK, but it's not really useful as not really mandatory to use. And on and offline discoverability is nothing that if you have some agent arrive, you are able to pick it up. Your particular agent is arrived or not instantaneously. If you shut down a particular agent, it will get out of the list. And then suppose async, sync, and streaming, waiting for the output of one agent, or should I just base it on the response of the agent, or should I give the stream part by part? And then it is seamlessly integrates with the UI as well. You just not need to work just with the CLI terminal as well. You already have a beautiful UI, but UI is just for demonstrating purpose also. Mostly you will use for hands-off. I mean, you don't need a user to move to the next step. Now this is the PAA platform. This is where you will be able to discover all the agents which you have developed. So just like I mentioned earlier, you have developed a group of agents. Now you need another organization, another group to check it out. With the PAA platform running, you will get a catalog of all the agents that you have developed here, and you will be able to, even with a beautiful UI, you will be able to click and try it out as well. This is like I mentioned earlier, you have your user interface, and you can share with other people. And it's also framework agnostic. You can develop your agent with any framework, doesn't matter, you just have to make wrap it with ACP. It should be ACP compatible. That's enough. And you also have telemetry as well. So you will be able to read the logs of the underlying agent. Now, another thing, another good part is that it uses a containerization of the agents. If you have multiple agents, each agent is being living in a particular containers, and they are using Ubuntu as the root. So if you're using a Windows, you can WSL for activating that. Now, in the right side, you can see a small UI of all the agents listed there, and you can also directly interact with that agent. If it's a conversation, you can just type and hit send. Now, this is actually when the PAA project was initialized around 1 year ago. It was developed by IBM actually, and then it was open sourced, even the protocol itself. Now, the ACP protocol was actually a kind of byproduct of the PAI project actually. So, when you wanted to communicate the multiple agents, they have developed ACP. Now, this is a life cycle where first you are developing your agent using the framework which I mentioned earlier, and the communication happens using your ACP. It should be ACP compliant, and it's very easy to wrap your agent. You just have to use an SDK or something which makes the server ACP compliant. And that is found very easily with the PPTs. We'll just have a small putty WhatsApp at the end as well. So I'll show you how we are doing that. And then you can run and share the platform to anyone, like especially across your organizations. Now this is the which is scan that you can go to the GitHub page where you can see the code. And just giving a link of a template workshop is out there, so we will be able to try it out. But before going to that workshop, I must want to say a small addition as well, especially when you are trying creating a region. You may be having different types of parts into it. Even you are going to another, it has some system prompt which instructs what are the things that the element should do, like an output schema. If a user is asking anything, sometimes you want the output to be in a particular schema that is understandable by the next agent. It is not a conversational agent, right? So that kind of instructions, routes, and everything will be fed to the system prompt. And if you are using some external tools, like you need to pull data from a particular database or pull data from a particular document PDF, all these things can be connected to the system prompt. And you will get an output from the LLM which is raw, but you need a parser to actually get the math out of it. Okay. The parser output will be given to the orchestrator, which is the, for when you are having a multi-agent system, there will be an orchestrator agent as well. Mostly by design, you have a master agent. This master agent coordinates all the actions from the subordinate agents. Now we will just go to the sample code. I will also go to the workshop page, so it will be easy for you to understand that. This will be a workshop page, and you will be able to see the code for all the things and steps for how to get started and everything like that. Okay, so there are also three parts of here: how to invoke the ACP agent, multi-agent workflow, and BIA platform. We'll cover that 1 and 2 right now. Now here we are using UV instead of PIP. I think you might have heard about UV as well. It's much more 10 to 100 times faster than PIP, and you don't need an external picture environment. It automatically manages all these things. So UV is actually something which we are required for this exercise here. Now there are two agents here. One is the ticket triage agent and ticket response agent. So what it does is that I am a user and I am actually reporting an issue in our software. So I am trying to access this thing, but it is not logging out, or I am not able to get it on time. So I am a user and the message is something, and the ticket triage agent reads my input.
Can you increase the font size?
Now it's fine. Okay. So the triage agent basically just converts your conversation to a structured output. It analyzes the tone, it analyzes what kind of issue is this. So the output should be something similar. There is a response with the field customer ID, product ID, what the severity of this issue, and all these kind of things. And you also have a response agent. The response agent gives back output to the user. So it should be the conversational type. Okay. Now I don't want to run all of the things. So steps in lab one simply is that you are able to run two agents, which is one developed using BAI framework and the other using parametric AI. So the purpose is that it's to show you that it is not framework dependent, it is agnostic. Since this is deployed using FOSS API, you will be able to see the UI itself. And there's a UI shell as well. So this agent is now running on POW 8000. Now this is up and running. If I click on the list agents, we can see that there is only one agent running. In the response, you can see ticket triage agent is being running. Now similarly, I will go for the next agent as well. This agent is running on port 8001. Now that's the response agent. The whole point is that to show that these agents are independent and have its own existence. So you definitely doesn't need all the agents to be developed in a single workflow or anything like that. It should be independent. It doesn't have to be an agent itself. It can be a microservice or it can be any other subroutine or anything like that. You just have something to orchestrate all these things. Now the next thing, we are actually able to connect all of these things in a single workflow. I also have a third one, which is the workflow agent. Now this is the one which has all the three agents listed here, and it also has a master agent called the ticket workflow agent. This encompasses both the agent, it's an orchestrator. It calls both ticket triage agent and ticket response agent. The output from the triage agent is being fed into the response agent. Now, for the sake of it, it's actually tried using OpenAI, but just like I mentioned earlier, as a fail order, either I like OpenAI keys, but now they're asking me to pay $5. So I will give you a hack.
I think your API key was visible in the screen, maybe.
Yeah, it was.
Better change that.
Yeah, so this is actually another platform where you are able to see or you can use multiple models at the same time with a single API key. But this is also paid if you are using paid models. But if you are using unpaid models, you can search for here, app model. Then you can just search for free models. All the free models you can chat for free. First is that you don't have to use multiple LLMs or multiple SDKs to run your model. You just need one API key for all the use cases. So here I am using one free model which is from Quen. I'm getting the key later, okay, don't try to copy it. So model name is Quen. The only thing is that you need a model that actually follows the OpenAI standards as well. So we have a free open source model from OpenAI, which is GPT OS 120B and all. But doesn't actually follow all the validation from pyramid and all. I'm expecting an output like this, but it is not following the correct output like this. So that's why I try to use something from Quen. Now I'm trying to import the agent. So now the agent is running on 8000 port. If I get the agents now, I will be able to see that there are 2 agents running in this port. 3 agents totally, including the master. The ticket triage agent, the ticket response agent, and then the ticket workflow agent. Alright. Now I'll just try to import them. The point is that it is not, the only point I'm trying to say that it is not dependent on any particular framework, because one is developed using BAI framework and the other is developed using Dynamic AI. Now I'll just try to import one agent with some default strings or something like that. I have something copied here, I'll just use that. So this is a template here, we want to remove something like the metadata, I don't need that, and the command URL is only for if you are trying to pull data from an external sites or anything like that. So you want to remove all these sections as well, and we're also changing the mode to streams because we can see it live as well. And we are also removing the state. The state is only for receiving a particular agent, so we don't use certain state like that as well. So I have that JSON here. Just copy paste it. I give the name of my agent ticket plug flow and then give my content. Hi, this is Jay Though. Ever since yesterday, your block plan won't let me export reports. This is blocking my quarter and close. Please use ASAP or refund the month, account number, this thing. So when I try to hit the key, let's see what the output is. You can see the logs in the server as well. Okay, so this is the response on the trial object. So from my conversation, it has actually derived a particular JSON structure with accounting, technical support, customer name, change of account ID. All these are created in a JSON response which is understandable by the next agent, which is the response agent. Now the response agent must have given output by now. Now you can see the log system. The one is being created from the ticket workflow agent, and one is in progress, and message is created. Now the first part is the agent 1 response. So this is the response from the agent 1, and it is given to the message of part of the second agent. So control is being given, and the output is being here. So the output might be. Thank you for reaching out. I sincerely apologize for the disruption caused by the thing. And so, in a conversational manner, the response agent has given you the output. So now, what we have witnessed is actually two agents working from different frameworks and being giving you an output. Now you can host anywhere as well. Now the third tab shows how you can use this or how you can share everything in the BAA platform. Unfortunately, I'm not able to show it because some configuration issues in my laptop. So instead, what I will do is that I will just go through a video of how we can see that everything in the small demonstration which is shown here. So these are some of the CLI commands which you can use when you install the BAI. This is to list all the available agents. So if I am shutting down a particular agent from my list, then instantaneously it will get off on this particular list here. This is how you discover multiple agents. Now for running multiple agents, you have the option of CLI or you can use the GUI. Because this is something called control, but still in this earlier version only, you can just drag and drop different kind of orchestration and all. But I haven't played with all these things right now. Just let me see. Okay, run is now. This is how you run a particular agent. So once you list a particular agent using the BAA list, you will be able to run that particular agent from the terminal, or you can use your GUI. Now there are some pre-built agents when you install the BAA itself. So you can see the agent catalog. These are something which is pre-installed when you install the framework itself. Something like Ada, it's a simple one, chat. You can chat with a particular agent as well. Now this is giving you a local GUI as well. When you click on it, it's navigating you to how to install all these things. But it basically gives you an option to chat with a particular agent. It has an alarm or something which is set up by default. So that's how you test it, try it out. So there is also some starter kit for the BAA framework which is used to create your agents. There is some Python starter kit as well as the TypeScript starter kit. You will be able to use that, and all the features are also mentioned here. How to implement the memory, how to implement serialization, all kind of things are also mentioned here. I'm not able to go through all of that right now. And then this is the starter kit for the Python. It will give you a simple chat-based example, you can have your alarm model in your local, and then you can get the weather and all kind of things. So I think that covers most of it. Yeah, that's all. Yeah, sure, thank you.
Any questions?
The language and the speaker.
Python and TypeScript is supported. So you want your engine to be either you need to just wrap something. So only frameworks support TypeScript and Python. That's what I understand.
Where language area?
So which other language support agents? I'm not sure.
HTTP protocol
Actually, it should be used. Only for ACP is also communication. This protocol is communicate between two agents. So you need one agent contains in one, and you can communicate with that. So it's not the framework, BA framework only supports Python and TypeScript. You can only develop agent using both these languages. Yes, sir.
ഓപ്പൺ റൗണ്ട് കാണിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ടായിരുന്നു അതിലിപ്പോ ഇത് പ്രോക്സി പോലെയാണ് ആക്ട് ചെയ്യുന്നത്.
അതായത് എനിക്ക് മൾട്ടിപ്പിൾ എലമെന്റ്സിലേക്ക് സപ്പോർട്ട് ആവശ്യമുണ്ട്. ഫോർ എക്സാമ്പിൾ എനിക്ക് യൂസ് കേസ് വലിയ തന്നെ ആയിരിക്കും. ഒരു മാസ്റ്റർ ഏജന്റ് ഉണ്ട്, ഒരു റെസ്പോൺസ് വന്നു, ഇത് ഏത് മോഡലിൽ കൊടുക്കണം എന്ന് കഴിയുമ്പോൾ ഒരു ഇനിഷ്യൽ ഏജന്റ് ഫൈൻഡ് ചെയ്യും, എന്നിട്ട് അതിന് റെസ്പോണ്ടിങ് ആയിട്ട് അത് കൊടുക്കും. അപ്പൊ അതിന് വേണ്ടി ഓരോന്നിനും ഓരോ SDKs ഉണ്ടാക്കി വെക്കേണ്ട, ജസ്റ്റ് ഒരു ആരോ സ്ട്രിങ്സ് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ മോഡൽസ് പാസ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റും. ഇതിൽ എല്ലാ മോഡൽസ് ഒരേ സമയം വേണമെങ്കിൽ ഫയൽ ചെയ്യാം, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഒരു മോഡൽ അനാഥികമാണെങ്കിൽ അടുത്ത മോഡലിലേക്ക് ആ റെസ്പോൺസ് പോകും. അങ്ങനത്തെ ഫീച്ചേഴ്സ് ഇത് ഒരു പ്രോസസ് പോലെ ആക്ട് ചെയ്യും. only thing is ഈ ഓപ്പൺ റൂട്ടർ നമ്മൾ പേയ്മെന്റ് ചെയ്യണം if you are using paid models. അപ്പൊ അതൊരു കമ്മീഷൻ ലഭിക്കും, എന്നിട്ട് ബാക്കി 20% കമ്മീഷൻ എടുത്തിട്ട് ബാക്കിയായിരിക്കും നിങ്ങളെ ഓപ്പൺ ഇതിലേക്ക് പോകുന്നത്. അപ്പൊ $5 ആണ് അത് വേണ്ടതെന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ഇപ്പോൾ $5.20 ചാർജ് ചെയ്യണം, എന്നാലേ അത് യൂസ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റത്തുള്ളൂ. ഫ്രീ മോഡൽസ് യു ക്യാൻ യൂസ്.
ഫ്രീ അവര് പ്രോക്സി ഉപയോഗിക്കുന്നതിന്
ഫ്രീ ആണ്.
Any further questions? Okay, thank you, Krishna.
Thank you.
ഇതിനകത്ത് ഒരു വിൻഡോസ് ലെവലിനെ സപ്പോർട്ട് ഉണ്ട്. അതാണ് വിൻഡോസ് ലെവൽ.
വിൻഡോസ് 10 പോലെ ഒരു WSL ഉണ്ട്, അത് ഇൻസ്റ്റാൾ ചെയ്യണമെന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ വിൻഡോസ് 11 ലെവലാണ് എനേബിൾ ചെയ്യേണ്ടത്. അത് ഇഷ്ടോ അത് നമ്മൾ ഇൻസ്റ്റാൾ ചെയ്യേണ്ടി വരും. ഈ ഏജൻസ് എല്ലാം കണ്ടെയ്നർ ചെയ്യുന്നതുകൊണ്ടാണ്.
വിൻഡോസ് 18 റൺ ചെയ്യുന്നതല്ലേ ഇത്?
അല്ല, WSL
വേണ്ടിയിട്ടാണോ വിൻഡോസ് ലെവൽ? WSL എന്ത് ഫീച്ചറിന് വേണ്ടിയിട്ടാണ് വിൻഡോസ് ലെവൽ?
ഈ കണ്ടനൈസേഷൻ ചെയ്യാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ടാണ്.
അത് 10 സപ്പോർട്ട് അല്ല.
10 ആ ഫീച്ചർ എനേബിൾ ചെയ്യാൻ എന്തോ പ്രശ്നമുണ്ടോ? UVയുടെ BA CLI ഇൻസ്റ്റാൾ ചെയ്യാനായിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു റിക്വയർമെന്റ് അതാണ്. WSL 2 ആണെന്ന് തോന്നുന്നു യൂസ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്.
അല്ല, അത് തുന്നി എവിടെ ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുമല്ലോ?
എന്റെ ഉണ്ട്, പക്ഷെ എന്തോ വേറൊരു ഇഷ്യൂ ഉണ്ട്. ഈ CLI ആ ഒരു റിക്വയർമെന്റ് ആണ് ഇങ്ങനെ ഒന്നുണ്ട്. ഈ വെർഷൻ ആണ് യൂസ് ചെയ്യേണ്ടതെന്നുള്ളത്.
That reminds me, Windows 10 support is going to end in October 12. There is this one hardware requirement for Windows 11 that makes a lot of old machines obsolete, meaning that you can't upgrade Windows 10 machines to Windows 11 in many systems. This will obviously affect Kerala and other people who doesn't want to buy many new fancy computers. So there is this website called endoften.org, which is a campaign by some Linux people to not make this much e-waste, because these laptops will be unusable. But I don't think Kerala really matters, because people still use Windows XP. I think in Kochi airport, I saw that they are actually using Windows XP for the display of advertisements and stuff.
Some banks, ATM banks.
No, banks I don't think will never be using. Oh, that reminds me. South Indian Bank is actually using Debian for some of their ATMs, by the way. That I get from, there is a vendor in Chennai. They advertise themselves as a first ATM vendor provider support, like actually using Linux. So they're running on Debian, and they're actually updating, like stability wise, they're updating pretty good. And so also in the case of Windows, if you have old machines, better to use Linux machines or something. But I don't think if you are not connected to the internet, I think it's fine. Okay, thank you. And question. This is a late question.
മറ്റേ സോഫ്റ്റ്വെയർ എല്ലാ ഡെവലപ്പേഴ്സും ഇല്ലേ, സോഫ്റ്റ്വെയർ ഡെവലപ്പേഴ്സ് എല്ലാവരും ഇത് ഐ മീൻ
ഇംപ്ലിമെന്റ് ചെയ്യണ്ടേ? അതായത് ആ കോഗ്നിറ്റീവ് ഓവർലോഡ് വരില്ല ആ ടീമിൽ ഫുള്ളായിട്ട്.
എങ്ങനെ?
അതായത് ഈ ഇത്രയും സാധനങ്ങൾ മറ്റേ പ്രോട്ടീൻ മറ്റേ കുറച്ച് അതുകൊണ്ട്
അപ്പോൾ
അപ്പൊ ഇത് എല്ലാവരും യൂസ് ചെയ്യുന്നതല്ലേ എക്സ്പെക്ട് ചെയ്യുന്നത്
ഏജൻസിന്റെ
ഐ മീൻ ഈ സാധനങ്ങൾ സോഫ്റ്റ്വെയർ ഡെവലപ്പേഴ്സ് ജനറൽ യൂസിന് ഉപയോഗിക്കാം.
ഒരു സ്റ്റാൻഡേർഡൈസ്ഡ് വേ ആണെന്നാണ് ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നത്.
അതായത് സ്റ്റാൻഡേർഡൈസ്ഡ് അല്ല, ഇത് ഭയങ്കര കോഗ്നിറ്റീവ് ഓവർലോഡ് അല്ലേ. ഐ മീൻ മറ്റേ നോർമൽ സോഫ്റ്റ്വെയർ എഞ്ചിനീയറിംഗിനേക്കാളില്ല ഇതിലോട്ട് വരുമ്പോൾ പിന്നെ ഡെവലപ്പേഴ്സ് അങ്ങനെ ചിന്തിക്കുമല്ലോ.
ഇത് ACP ആണോ BA കുറിച്ചാണോ പറഞ്ഞത്?
അല്ല, എനിക്ക് തോന്നുന്നത് സോഫ്റ്റ്വെയർ ഡെവലപ്മെന്റിലെ ഏജന്റ് മിക്സിൽ വന്ന ഇറ്റ് വിൽ ബി കോഗ്നിറ്റീവ് ലോട്ട് ഫോർ പീപ്പിൾ.
മനസ്സിലാക്കാൻ പറയാം. പക്ഷെ അതിന്റെ പർപ്പസ് തന്നെയാണ്. അതായത് ഏത് ടൈപ്പ് ഞാനൊരു ഫ്രെയിം വർക്ക് ലോക്ക്ഡ് അല്ല, ഏത് ടൈപ്പ് ഒന്നും പുള്ളി ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റും. ഇന്ന ആളുടെ ഫ്രെയിം വർക്ക് കൊണ്ടുവന്ന ആ ഇതിന് കുറച്ച് പെർഫോമൻസ് ബെറ്റർ ആണെങ്കിൽ അതെനിക്ക് യൂസ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റും. അല്ലെങ്കിൽ വേറെ ആളാണെങ്കിൽ അതെനിക്ക് യൂസ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റും. രണ്ട് യൂസ്. ഇപ്പൊ എനിക്ക് ഈ ഫസ്റ്റ് കണ്ട ഏജന്റ് അതെനിക്ക് BA ഫ്രെയിം വർക്ക് ഉണ്ടാക്കിയതായിരിക്കും ബെറ്റർ റിസൾട്ട് തരുന്നത്. എങ്കിൽ അതെനിക്ക് അവിടെ യൂസ് ചെയ്യാം. അടുത്ത ആൾ BA അത്ര നല്ല റിസൾട്ട് തരുന്നില്ല. അതുകൊണ്ട് ഞാൻ പഴയ വെച്ചുണ്ടാക്കി അവരെ കണക്ട് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റും. ഒരാളെ വെച്ച് രണ്ടും ഉണ്ടാക്കുന്ന നിർബന്ധമില്ല. രണ്ട് കണക്ട് ചെയ്യാൻ ഒരു സ്റ്റാൻഡേർഡ് കിട്ടിയാൽ മാത്രം മതി.
ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ ആയിരിക്കണമെന്നില്ല. അതായത് അത് ഏജന്റ് ഡെവലപ്പ് ചെയ്യുന്നവർക്കല്ലേ. ഇപ്പൊ ഏജന്റ് ഒരു മിക്സിലോട്ട് ആഡ് ചെയ്താൽ ഇപ്പൊ തിയററ്റിക്കലി പറയണ എന്താണ്, ഇനിയിപ്പോ നമ്മള് കോഡ് എഴുതുമ്പോ കുറെ ഡൊമൈനൊക്കെ അറിയണം, അതിനൊക്കെ ഏജന്റ് വരുമെന്നാണല്ലോ പറയണത്. അവർ ടു ഇന്ററാക്ട് വിത്ത് them. അത് മറ്റേതാണ് യു ക്യാൻ ആക്ച്വലി പെഗ് ദ റെസ്പോൺസിബിലിറ്റി ഓൺ ടു ദാറ്റ് പേഴ്സൺ. അപ്പൊ കോംപ്ലിക്കേഷൻസ് ഇല്ലെന്നാണ് എനിക്ക് തോന്നുന്നത്. അതായത് ഏജൻസ് ന്യൂസൻസ് ആയിരിക്കും.
കുറെ ഏജൻസ് വരുമ്പോഴത്തേക്കും യൂഷ്വലി ഫിനാൻഷ്യൽ ഇൻസ്റ്റിറ്റ്യൂഷൻ ഒക്കെ പലതും ഒരു ജസ്റ്റ് അങ്ങനെ കാണിച്ചോളൂ. റിയൽ കേസിലൊക്കെ അങ്ങനെ ആയിരുന്നില്ല. ഏജൻസ് കുറെ ഏജൻസ് വർക്ക് ചെയ്യുന്ന കുറെ ആർക്കിടെക്ചേഴ്സ് ഉണ്ട്. അങ്ങനത്തെ കേസുകളിലൊക്കെ വളരെ പെട്ടെന്ന് തന്നെ കമ്മ്യൂണിക്കേഷൻ നടക്കുന്നത് വളരെ ക്രിട്ടിക്കലാണ്. ഇപ്പൊ ACP ഡയറക്ട് കോമ്പറ്റേറ്റർ എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ A2 വരെയാണ് ഡെവലപ്ഡ് ബൈ Lulu. അത് കുറച്ചും കൂടെ ക്ലൗഡ് സ്കേലബിലിറ്റിക്ക് ഭയങ്കര കൊണ്ടുവന്നെങ്കിലും ചില കേസുകളിൽ റെസ്റ്റ് ബേസ്ഡ് ആണ് കുറച്ചുകൂടെ ഫാസ്റ്റർ. ലോ ലേറ്റൻസി ആപ്ലിക്കേഷനൊക്കെ റെസ്റ്റ് ബേസ്ഡ് ആയിരിക്കും കുറച്ചുകൂടെ ഫാസ്റ്റർ. അങ്ങനെ പ്രോട്ടോകോൾസിനാണ് ACP കുറച്ചുകൂടെ ബെറ്റർ ആയിട്ട് വരുന്നത്. ബട്ട് സ്കേലബിലിറ്റി കുറച്ചുകൂടെ ഇമ്പോർട്ടന്റ് ആയി വരുന്ന എന്റർപ്രൈസസിനൊക്കെ A2 പ്രോട്ടോകോൾ ആയിരിക്കും കുറച്ചും കൂടെ ബെറ്റർ ആയിട്ട് വരുന്നത്.
സെക്യൂരിറ്റി ഭയങ്കര ഇഷ്യൂ അല്ലേ ശരിക്കും?
സെക്യൂരിറ്റി അത് ഇൻബിൽഡ് ആയിട്ട് കൊണ്ടുവരും. കാരണം അതിനകത്തേക്ക് തന്നെ കുറച്ച് ഫ്രീഫില്ലുണ്ട്.
നല്ല സെൻസിറ്റീവ് ഡാറ്റ നമുക്ക് ഇപ്പൊ
പുറത്തേക്ക് പോകാനുള്ള പ്രശ്നമുള്ളൂ. ഇതിപ്പോ നമ്മുടെ ഡാറ്റാബേസും കാര്യങ്ങളൊക്കെ ഈ പ്രോസസിംഗ് എല്ലാം നമ്മുടെ ഇൻഹൗസ് ടൂൾസിലാണ്. എന്റെ ക്ലൗഡിലായിട്ട് ചിലപ്പോൾ ഇതിന്റെ എഞ്ചിൻ ഹോസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. അങ്ങനെ പുറത്തേക്ക് പോകുന്നില്ല. എനിക്കിവിടെ തന്നെ നമ്മൾ നിർത്താൻ പറ്റും.
പക്ഷേ ഇപ്പൊ ജയിൽ ബ്രേക്കിംഗ് ഒക്കെ അല്ലേ?
അത് LLMs-ന്റെ ഫോർമാണ്. ഇതിപ്പോ ജസ്റ്റ് കോളേജിൽ നിന്ന് മാത്രമേ ഉള്ളൂ.
ഇപ്പൊ ഫോട്ടോ എടുക്കണം. ഇപ്പൊ ഫോട്ടോ എടുക്കണം. എന്ത് ഫോട്ടോ? ഗ്രൂപ്പ് ഫോട്ടോ ഇപ്പൊ എടുത്തിട്ട് because it's coming. Okay, let's have snacks and okay, and thank you Ayur again for these snacks as well, specifically.
Snacks last.
Okay, next and our final talk is from Subi Surendran. I'm saying my name. Subi is going to talk about Eclipse. He's been in software development for like more than 10 years. I'm already here. And he's been committing to Eclipse. Who has learned Eclipse IDE here? VS Code കാലത്ത് Eclipse കേൾക്കാൻ ചാൻസ് കുറവായതുകൊണ്ട് ഞാൻ ചോദിച്ചിട്ടുള്ളത്. ലോയൽ Eclipse ഏതാണ് ഉപയോഗിക്കുന്നത്? Eclipse ആയിരുന്നു അന്ന കാലത്ത് പഠിച്ചത്. ബിഗ് യൂസേഴ്സ് ഉണ്ടോ ചെയ്യുന്ന പോലെ തന്നെ ഇരിക്കാം. യൂസേഴ്സ് ഉണ്ടോ അല്ല. Sorry, I'm a nano user. Okay, so Subi is going to talk about his contributor to Eclipse. So he's going to talk. His talk is going to be about his open source contributions to Eclipse. So thank you. Class of.
For this wonderful introduction. Am I audible? No. What about now? Yes. No.
സ്ട്രീം ഒക്കെ സെറ്റ് അല്ലേ? ഈ വോളിയം കിട്ടും മൈക്ക് കേൾക്കുന്നില്ലെങ്കിൽ എന്താ പറയാൻ പറ്റില്ല.
So, myself Subi Surendran, I'm working as an engineer like Subin said. Past more than 2 years I'm contributing to Eclipse IDE and I'm a committer in the Eclipse JDT platform. So JDT which means Java Development Tools. I'm also co-organizer of Kochi Java User Group. And thank you FOSS Group for giving me an opportunity to take a session today, and thanks IBM and thank you all. So my today's topic is contribute, collaborate, create, the art of open source contribution. On top of this, I will share some of my experience as a newbie, as a contributor to committer. So this session primarily deals with those who are interested in open source and those who want to contribute to open source. So this session is mainly focused on those areas. So this is just a brief history. So I know majority of you people already know these things. So you can go to a small sleep. I will wake up you in 5 minutes after this. So at the beginning era of computers, there was no differentiation between hardware and software, and the creator of the computer itself, the consumer of that computer. Nowadays, I don't know what's happening inside this computer. I can only consume it. So in that era, the what we call computer race starts with ENIAC 1 and later IBM introduced IBM 701, and 1952 IBM introduced 702. So these three mainly these three computers started the computer race, and the problem of those computers were highly expensive. Only universities, big institutions, organizations could only afford those computers because very big in size and very costly. So also those computers has many issues. So in the year 1952, a group of people grouped together and they created a group of instructions. That's we called PAC. And the next step was reducing its size as well as price. Then only normal people could afford it. So a lot of companies collaborated together and they tried to add their own contributions. And another problem those era people faced was the computer can be only utilized by a single person. Nowadays we can add multiple users in our computer. So in that system, Massachusetts Institute of Technology (MIT) started a main step forward. They created a system called CTSS. It's called Compatible Time Sharing System. This laid the foundation for many more systems, those we call free software movement. So open source software movement, which started by Richard Stallman after the launching of a project called GNU Linux. Not GNU Linux, sorry, GNU. So anyone know what is the name of that mascot? Mascot, this one. it's too narrow, too thin, not narrow, too thin. Face something like a big one, and body is small one. So if you read Escape Records 9, the starting portion he describes something about this point list. And so yeah.
So the previous slide. The fourth point, I am little skeptical about that.
Yes. Which one? Sorry.
See, there is a complaint that open source was coined by Eric S. not by.
Actually, not that term. That movement, open source movement.
Open source movement was like the open source movement was coined, like the word was coined by O'Reilly. Because they want to push the other part, how companies can like vacuum up all the things we are developing on. So I don't think free software has anything to do with open source, and they'll be like that person will definitely be very angry if you mention open source.
Okay guys, sorry for my bad knowledge. So I collected these kind of information, basic information from some of the Wikipedia pages, free software movements, open source, and one other page, I don't remember the name. In the reference section, I show all the links.
But generally, the confusion is there everywhere. This is a very confusing.
I think he is right.
Yeah, I think that only this free software purists would know. Deep enough, you will understand the differences, philosophy, blah blah. Yeah, but let them know.
No, Subin, if you take a look at the FOSS, free and open source. So open source software, I would disagree with him. It is by Eric S. Raymond, Cathedral and the Bazaar. That is the book. No, I would like to repeat. Should I repeat?
Eric was
okay, I would like to repeat. Okay, so at least you can agree to disagree. Free software was in 1984 by Richard Stallman. He created something called GPL and then copyleft. Okay, that is how it was more of a social movement.
Yes.
In 1997, Eric S. Raymond published something called Cathedral and the Bazaar, and then Mozilla project began.
Yeah.
And that is how OSS started.
Yeah. That's the term open source started. Because that actually made sense. I mean,
yeah, because from a freedom perspective, there are 4 freedoms. Okay, OSS makes 4th one optional. That's the difference.
And the OSS got that guidance from Debian's free software guidance.
Might be.
DFS.
Okay, thank you guys for this information. So basically, what is open source? Technically, it's called. We could modify, distribute, and view the code. That is the key thing. We can see what are the items written in the code. We can distribute. We can create on top of other product based on that source code. And other thing is we should collaborate with different people across the globe. These 4 items are the key things of open source. And as you know, there are a lot of n number of open source projects. Eclipse is one of them. OpenJDK, we have n number of Linux distributions. Debian, Linux kernel, Kubernetes, n number of them. So why we contribute to open source? What are the advantages if a person contribute to open source? These are the 3 items. A person should get personal growth, career growth, and giving back. Personal growth, which means in any new project, if we jump to a new project, technology might be changed, way of coding might be changed. So our technical skills would be improved, and those can act as a spearhead for our career. And the second thing is very important, networking in career growth. So what is networking? So see, if I work in different other projects, I don't have much interaction with meetups like this. Only I know I came here, that's the reason why Eclipse. So since it's an open source, I sometimes I run events like this. So the key advantage is we could get networking with different people, different areas. Also, if we not about normal meetups, if we working in an open source project, for example, Eclipse. So if I don't work in Eclipse, IBM might be assigned some other projects, and my circle would be only with IBM and IBM clients. But in the case of this project, I sometimes deal with Red Hat people, sometimes with Microsoft people, sometimes with Fujitsu developers, sometimes with there are a couple of German companies called, I don't know how many of you heard that, Adventist and GE Softwares. These two companies primarily focus with Java compilers. So all these, I'm interacting with these fellows. So some of these, there's a person called Stefan Hanna. He getting much more respect from the community. He holding maximum number of commits for the Java compiler areas. So some of my commits reviewed by that person. So my commits are reviewed by a great person. This kind of networking and interaction we get if a person contributing to open source. Imagine there's a Linux kernel developer. Where's he? Mark. Yeah, Mark. So imagine a person contributing to Linux kernel. Imagine somehow that PR might be reviewed by Linux developers. How good it is. So only with that PR, if we ask for an interview and he can showcase that. Linux that's a different thing.
Actually, my first PR was told in 2006, and that was told by Linus.
Oh, come again?
The 2.6 version, the chief engineer was Linus and he pulled it. So, my batch.
Great, that's very much. So, the next thing is giving back. Giving back is nothing but we are helping the community and resolving world problems. That's and the art of contribution. So there are 3 different types of contributions. I don't have coding skill. Don't we go back? We can contribute in different ways. I will explain it. So contributing to open source is not just writing the code. It's a chance to collaborate with different people across the globe. There are 3 types of contributions: code contribution, non-code contribution, and reporting issues. So this code contribution is one of the fascinating way of contributing to open source. This is mostly recognized way, and there are 4 types of code contribution: bug fixes, feature addition, writing test, and refactoring. So if we talk about a new or a person, those who want to start contribution, so those persons should start with bug fixes with minor issues and writing unit tests and refactoring. So bug fixes might be a major critical issue or minor issue. So if a newbie should prefer with minor issues. And feature addition, as you know, in Eclipse, sometimes we receive feature addition requests, which means sometimes IntelliJ or VS Code added some new feature, cool features. So we copy those features. Similarly, if VS Code sometimes check with copying Eclipse functionalities is quite common in market. And writing test. So writing test is super important, not only in open source area. I'm a great fan of writing unit tests because if you write more number of unit tests, so the system will be more stable. That's my viewpoint. And in open source project, we have first we have contributors, then we switch to committers, then we switch to lead or maintainers. So in some scenarios, big features might be implemented by these maintainers or sometimes committers. So what the thing is, they might be overrun. So at that time, they only implemented the features only. They would not get enough time to write unit tests. So if we start with an open source project, so these persons might be contacted us and requested newbies to write unit tests. So this would be a great option. So how I consider this a great option, because see, there's a new feature in Java 25 called X. Just imagine X. I have zero knowledge with what is X. So imagine a person called, let's say, Stefan. So he asked me to write unit tests for this feature. So what I will do, or you will do, we first learn about what that feature is, X. We thoroughly study and A to Z items of that X. Then we brainstorm our own way how to break this, his code. So we cover in each and every area of that great person's code, and we try to break it. So this will improve our skills, and if we raise this PR, if we add enough unit testing, good unit testing, so we get appreciation or respect from the community. It will keep growing. That is the advantage of writing tests. And next thing is code refactoring. We majorly, I think all of us are developers, right? Developers, testers, software engineers, right? So imagine we are passionate about a particular open source project. What will we do the next? Download, use the application, that's fine. Then what's next? We clone the source code, and we sometimes check what are the items written in the source code. So imagine if you're checking the source code and you notice that, hey, this overload is unnecessary, or you can improve the performance. That we call refactor, right? So and we don't need to know the entire functionality of that entire code or workflow. We can change something. We can change, I think majority of you know what JavaScript, right? So we have arrow functions, right? So instead of putting an unnecessary for loops, we could use arrow functions. So similarly, we could implement the same logic up here. We can remove the unwanted code, unwanted if conditions, anything. So code would be more optimized, more polished. And next thing is non-code contributions. So this is also the most recognized way of contributing to open source. We are not directly modifying the source code, but we can improve the documentation, because documentation is the key thing. Imagine you are working with Node.js. You are a Node.js contributor. Am I audible? Okay, so imagine you are dealing with Node.js. So you jump to GitHub page of Node.js. Then the documentation is very ugly, it's very confusing. It's very hard to start with a newbie. So in that case, improving the documentation, because most of the open source projects nowadays switching to GitHub. So modifying the README file or another documentation would be very helpful for a person, those who start with contributions. And next thing is translation. So many of the open source projects providing this translation or globalization, conversion of English to other different languages. So if you have knowledge in Malayalam, majority of our Malayalis, right? So you can help. You can help the community, and you can provide translations in Malayalam or Chinese or Hebrew, Tamil, anything. And in Eclipse we don't have any translations, but IBM has its own Eclipse versions. So in that version we have translation, and I'm doing that translation alone. And next is design and user experience and enhancements. So you don't have good writing skills, but imagine if you have designing skills, then also you can contribute to open source. How? The logo of any icon, any application is frequently sometimes changing. Eclipse is changing every, I think, 2 or 3 years. And once we open up the application, there is a launching image also. Eclipse has a launching image. So this launching image changes every year, frequently changing. So there's a discussion happened in Eclipse community, and sometimes we add our suggestions. And if you are a good designer, you can create your own image. You can publish it in this these discussions happens in GitHub. GitLab. I think. So you can have your own image. So if it's a good design, everyone will approve it. And last thing is user support. So user support is we could write blogs. We could provide YouTube videos. There's a person in Eclipse community. This person will publish a particular video for what are the new items, new things in Eclipse, each and every release. So next month a new Eclipse version will be released. So this person, very next day of this release, this person published a YouTube video. This is a kind of, we could support the community because tiny features, small features, normally all users will not even notice. So in that case, if these kind of videos or blogs will help people about more idea about the new features. And last thing is, this is from my perspective, this is the most important way of contributing. Reporting issues. We don't have writing skill, we don't have designing, we don't have coding skill, but you can contribute to open source. These are the ways. So if we need to fix an issue, first it has to report. Without reporting, we can't identify the issue. So bug report is the major thing, and we can request feature addition. Here I mentioned feature addition also. Where is code copy? Yeah, actually this is the implementation of feature addition. This is the reporting of feature addition. If you think that a particular menu is necessary for a product, so place for that ticket, and definitely if it's good, community will support it. And last is the feedback. So share your experience, usability, challenges you face in contribution areas, areas for improvement. This feedback helps project maintainers what we call enhances the product. This is the most important thing. How to start open source contribution. I know majority of you would like to start contributions, predominantly open source. So how could we figure out a particular code? How could we start the open source contributions? From my perspective, first we have to identify the project. We can't never choose a project randomly if we have a strong interest on a particular project. For example, I have zero knowledge when I came to Eclipse. For the last almost 3 years I'm working this project, so I have some primitive knowledge or medium knowledge with Java. So I can contribute to OpenJDK. I worked many years with JavaScript and predominantly Node.js, so I can contribute to Node.js development. I have some exposure to Golang, so I can work with Kubernetes. Similarly, you should figure out your interest, and then only you should choose. Figure out a particular open source project. And the next thing is, imagine we figure out a project for X. So then what's next? Then we have to evaluate the project's health. How could we evaluate the project health? It's screen sharing, right? I will show with not check out once again. So this is an example. This is the GitHub page of Node.js. So first we have to check the issues. So can you see this? Yes. So look at this. This ticket raised in 15 minutes, 15 hours ago. This is raised yesterday. This is yesterday, 2 days ago. And if we check the closed issues, how we close the issue? Once we resolve that issue, then we close the issue. So look at this. This was closed yesterday. This was closed 2 days ago. So people are actively contributing to Node.js. This is one of the way we could figure out whether the product is actively contributing or check with pull request. See, a person raised a pull request 7 hours ago, and look at the 37,000 pull requests are already closed. And see, 16 hours ago, oh, not this one, yeah, 12 hours ago, a pull request merged with master. So these are the way we could figure out whether the project is actively maintained or not, or there is another way. In GitHub, we have this contributors section, and click here. It will give you the commit list. See, so based on this, we could figure out how many commits on a particular time period. So based on this, we could evaluate whether the project is actively maintained or not. Okay. And then how to start contributing? Where to start? So first we have to join the community discussions. Some GitHub projects have a discussions tab. So create a discussion, start with a discussion. Hey, I would like to contribute to this particular project. How to start? So definitely a lot of persons will add comments on top of our code. Also, there are a lot of mailing lists. Eclipse has mailing list. Linux kernel still using, actively following those mailing lists. So try to mail to that particular community. Anyone, those who subscribe to the mailing list will receive that email. And definitely committers or contributors or maintainers will send a reply. 2 days ago, we received one email from a person from Uganda. I have to figure it out. I don't know where it is at. I didn't sort it out. Anyways, this person from Uganda is studying at a university in Uganda. And the mail is something like this. I would like to start contributing to Eclipse family, predominantly the Java development tool section. So one of the committers sent a reply, hey, his name is Johansson or something. Hey Johansson, these are the starting point. You have to start from this point, and these are the challenges you might face. And raise request, raise a PR, just tag me or some other persons. So if we join the community, definitely community will help you. So collaborations in open source. So the open source projects are not project. The person, those who are interested, is categorized as this way. So first thing is contributors. When we join an open source project, we call ourselves as contributors. We are contributing to those projects. So when we reach up to a particular level, for example, it's different for different projects. From my understanding, OpenJDK they give 10 pull requests, 10 or 15 pull requests to get committers. And in Eclipse, it's different for different projects. Eclipse has different projects inside Eclipse project. So in Eclipse, it's different in area which I raised. So I raised around 30 PRs in different projects. And once this committer reaches to that level, so we get some community believes us. That's the key thing. So there's a board. Someone will raise our name for the committers, and a lot of persons will oppose, disagree. So if we get sufficient approvals, then we will promote to committers. So a couple of months I received my committership, and once we committer, then what's next? So if we have strong passion in that particular project, then years later, if we raise too much commits, then we will promote to maintainers. In Eclipse, we call it as leads, but majority of the projects is called maintainers. So the difference between committers and maintainers are committers can review the codes and they could merge the code with the master. They can merge the pull request, but contributors can't. And maintainers can do all the things what committers does. Additionally, maintainers lead the project's way, how it should work, how it should go. Its pathways are decided by maintainers, and there is a working steering committee team and PMC members. These three folks are, people are will do these folks. And last one is users. Users are the normal person, like we all are users. So we use the software and we reply our feedback. We just give the feedback, and based on that bug reports and feature additions, this whole project will go on.
One question. Did you say Eclipse has a specific name for maintainers?
Yeah, it's called Lead.
Leads?
L-E-A-D.
Oh, okay. I thought I heard a different name.
Okay. So, how collaboration fosters growth? So, open source projects encourages collaboration through different platforms like GitHub. Some, Linux kernel still they're using mailing list, but I don't know, they have a GitHub page also. But they still they are written in the review. They are working with maintainers. I can see the pull request, but I have no idea why pull request and they are sending patches to this mailing list. How they merges.
Yeah, Linus has a specific. So some people are trying to modernize it, but Linus is always against it because the whole point of Git was to be distributed. And if you put it in a host environment like GitLab or GitHub, they see it as a dependency problem because now you are locked into that.
Okay, that's they are GitHub page also.
Yeah, that's just a mirror, but they don't accept patches.
Oh, so once we raise patches in the we raise PR, then send patches to mailing list.
Mailing list is the source. They have source. Yeah. Git has a specific command for mailing list.
I don't know why they using a clone also. So yeah. And by bringing together people with the diverse skills, these projects benefit from better solution, inclusive design, and knowledge sharing. Inclusive design, which means projects become more user-friendly ideas from different cultural and technical backgrounds are incorporated. Building your reputation. So, creating impact through open source. How could we improve our reputation? Since we started an open source project, nobody knows us. So we normal first. Initially, we fix small bugs, we change small typo issues, we modify the documentations. So all these PRs sometimes send emails to mailing list. So actively contributing persons. Those who were normally said, oh, this name I recently saw multiple times. This is the first way our names are noted by these committers or maintainers. Then we have to contribute in a constant way, which means I have good skill. I raised 100 PRs in a month. Then next 11 months, I don't raise any PR. Again, this cycle happens. So our reputations won't, we won't get much sufficient reputation because we are not consistent. Even we raise 100 PRs in a year, but that's not consistent. So always contribute constantly, and if we contribute constantly, our familiarity will be increased, and we should be more reliable. How we should more reliable? I will give you a small example. In Eclipse, I work predominantly in the JDT core area. JDT core, which means it deals with compiler. There's an item called ASI, text industry, and there's another item called Java language library and Do. So these are the areas I predominantly work. So the compiler area, one issue happens. So first I will tag a couple of persons. Person called Stefan Herman Jayaprakash Abdanarisharan, Manoj and Para. These are the persons who predominantly work in the compiler area. So that's a trust. I can relate on that particular these people. So if I raise one query, it's a valid query, unless they will the reply might not be good. So if it's a valid query, then definitely they will give their ideas, their insights on those issues. And always we should focus from contributor to a maintainer. We should first we will be a contributor, then committer, then maintainer. This is the pathway for a person, those who want to contribute. And also how to improve the reputation through participating events. So I think 4 months ago I had attended one open source meetup, run by Eclipse Foundation in Bangalore. I personally met many of the contributors from Bosch, SAP. These people are contributing to Eclipse. I have no idea before I attended that event. I know, I heard these people's name by comments, but I have zero knowledge. These persons were working in SAP and SAP is contributing to Eclipse. That was a new knowledge for me. And so attending these events, we could improve our networking. And if we conduct any sessions, I took one session last Eclipse meetup. So these are the way we could improve our visibility. And see, attending this event, we could definitely get a lot of networks with, networking with these guys. So attending event is a mandatory thing. Not always mandatory, but it would be a good thing if we want to improve our reputation. Yeah. So overcoming challenges in, I think I missed something. Give me 1 second. Okay. So overcoming challenges in open source. See, if we raise one PR, we can't judge what are the review comments received from different peoples across the globe. Someone might be rude, someone might not be rude. So I didn't receive much more rejections because my full-time job is contributing to this project, and IBM is funded by me. So we have around more than 10 people contributing to this project. I definitely get help from these people, but this is not the not all people will get this kind of back support. So since we discussed with discussing about GitHub page of Linux Foundation, a person raised a beautiful C code. I think I saw that PR 2 or 3 months ago. A person raised a PR. It's a beautiful piece of C code. And that person is not a committer at that time. I don't know, he raised 2 or 3 PRs. And a person, I think is a maintainer. The review comment is very simple and horrific. Are you done? Do you want to break the system? So these kinds of messages or review comments you might receive. But never, we have to always motivate ourselves. Don't, look for others to motivate us. Don't back motivate because of these bad words. We may receive or may not receive. Or stay always positive and respond to these kind of feedback or rejections. Sometimes, see, imagine a previous scenario. That person might be, wrote those code for a good, his intention was good, but the review comment was very, not satisfactory. So what we can do? We have to convince that maintainer, because he's a maintainer. He's a very senior guy compared to that person. So we have to clearly mention why we proceed with this approach. These are the blockers. So that's the reason why I implemented this way. So this is the only way from my knowledge. And these are the areas I research my I improve my skills, and these are the areas I research, and these are my preliminary research areas. So this is the way we could make that person trust. And so if that person trusts us, then definitely I'm not sure 100%. I'm not 100% sure about that, but his review comments might be more polished and more positive. And so how to managing imposter syndrome. So overcoming fear of contribution and recognizing your value. So this is the first one, overcoming fear of contribution. I was such kind of person. In Eclipse, we have a couple of groups, not groups, we call as different projects. We have project called PDE, we have JDE, we have platform, we have Equinox. Equinox is responsible for the launcher part. So one person from Red Hat guy, he raised a PR, and he asked Stefan Herman to review that PR. So Stefan's reply is something like something like that. So see, if I receive that kind of review comments, definitely I will abandon the PR. So definitely in the initial stages, it's very hard person to raise PR. From my perspective, I was very fear about raising a PR. So somehow we have to push that fear out, and we have to push forward. Unless we can't survive in operations. So if we raise one PR, then that's far sufficient. All the fear will go and recognize the values. Even we change a small, tiny typo mistake. So that also has a great value. So always believe in ourselves and recognize our value. This is a key thing for all of us. And so I think we all know about Git and how to raise a PR, right? So this session is not for you, and I will increase the font size. So I don't know. So people sitting in the back, can you able to see this? So this is just an add-on. You can ignore this. This is only for those who want to contribute to Eclipse only. So there is a private chat portal Eclipse running. It's called metrics.eclipse.org server. So there is a private chat we can create with these two people, Oliver and Hans Wellman. So this Oliver and Hans Wellman is funded by Eclipse Foundation. And when you jump to a Eclipse project, you don't know where to start. You don't know how these entire application is split into different projects. Don't know how these architecture together. So you can chat everything with either Oliver or Hans, and you could contact with them either via GitHub or LinkedIn. And in every bi-weekly, I think Hans, organizing a community meetup, bi-weekly meetup. So you can join that meetup, community board, and ask your queries, ask your doubt, whatever in your mind. And I think I missed something. I don't know where I missed. What I missed, I have no idea. I have a gut feeling something I missed. Okay, so it's about feature request. We sometimes, nowadays, we have a small Kochi FOSS group, 2-3 people. We compare Eclipse with VS Code and IntelliJ. So because VS Code and IntelliJ consumes more users than Eclipse. So both these projects, products are run by Microsoft and IntelliJ by JetBrains. So they have a huge bandwidth. But Eclipse, since Eclipse is an open source, we don't have much bandwidth, and IntelliJ has a lot of. How many of you Mana Gupta? She's a Java champion, so she's working in IntelliJ. Like the bandwidth is so much high compared to Eclipse. So they introduce a lot of cool features. So we constantly compare VS Code and IntelliJ, and if we believe one feature is very much good, it will be helpful for the developers. We just copy paste that. I don't know whether it's ethically good or not. This is one of the way we try to improve Eclipse IDE. See, Eclipse has its own Java compiler, it's called ECJ, Eclipse compiler for Java. If we do, we polish more Eclipse, compiler part, but majority of the people, I think it's not helpful for majority of the people. Definitely it will be helpful, but these kind of developer helpful features will get Eclipse more attraction. That is the reason why we are doing that, and I can show you something. Give me 1 second. This one. So this person, Sagar, is my colleague. He wrote a blog, and majority of these items we copy pasted from different IDs. So and I think he discussed about 10 issues. Out of 10, 9 issues is implemented by this person itself. This is Sagar, and 1 issue is implemented by me. So features are very simple. For example, in every IDE we have debugger mode. We can debug items. So in debug view, we can see what are the variables available in the that runtime environment. See, these are a couple of items in Eclipse debugger area. So we could compare these two objects. That was new in Eclipse, but it was available in the IntelliJ for a long time. So we believe that if we implement those features, that would be beneficial. Or imagine we have 100 variables in the stack or debug environment, and our code base might be 6,000 long lines. So how would we figure out where a particular variable is created? So we could navigate the variable to a particular level. So I implemented this feature, which means just select that a particular variable and right click, navigate to, so the code will focus on where it created or declared. Similarly, all these items are, it's very technical thing. I don't want to waste your time. So this is also the way we could code it. So I'm not talking about the way of coding, but if you believe one such kind of feature is beneficial for our open source project, then always raise for feature addition. I think I have done. 1 second. Yeah, these are my reference. I wrote a blog based on what are these items, and the items behind the blog is these 3 Wikipedia pages: open source software movements, free software movements, and Lulu project with some of my experience. Any questions?
I have a question. So the Eclipse, how does this? I was just reading the Eclipse Wikipedia page as well. How does this whole thing start? I see Eclipse started from IBM.
Yeah, it's. I believe the name is Visual Age or something. It's written in Wikipedia. So IBM started this project in 2001, I believe, and because I can see the code written in 2001 in Wikipedia. That's the reason why I believe. And later 2004, IBM, with IBM support, created a consortium. It's called Eclipse Foundation. It's NGO. Okay. It does not have any relation with IBM. Eclipse Foundation is running many projects. Eclipse ID is one of that project. And currently, many companies are contributing to this project, IBM, Microsoft. See, how many of you know why IBM contributed to Eclipse or any OpenJDK?
Because of the use.
There is a joke that Eclipse was a project to Eclipse Sun.
So the reason why, see, a company is a corporate company. IT company is a corporate company. So they work for money. Then why they are contributing to this free softwares?
Because they use it.
Yeah.
Because they use it. Because they use it.
Because use it. So what if IBM asks us to don't work in Eclipse? Eclipse won't go anywhere. Still there. Then why?
Because it is good PR.
So see, if my reputation will be increased, so what will get IBM? Nothing. I'm gaining my
IBM getting reputation in
how? So the interesting thing is, see, IBM is using these products. If IBM contributing to OpenJDK, you know what is OpenJDK, right? So some of the Kochi FOSS still I'm currently contributing to OpenJDK. Why? IBM has IBM's own Java JDK. So they could get the code from that, and IBM's JDK, which means it's an enterprise version. So see, if customer raise one issue, it should be fixed in a particular time period. That's the reason why. So
the custom proprietary change upstream.
First, it fixed in the community. Then backward with the proprietary. Yeah. So IBM's why IBM contributing to Eclipse is IBM has IBM's own Eclipse version. It has still Java support for Java, and the clients. This product IBM we call IES. It's IBM's Eclipse. It's only for IBM developers and IBM clients. So, see, clients need Java support for the next 10 years. We can give that, but community can't. Because communities, each company's mind is different for different products. In the case of Microsoft is contributing to Eclipse. Why? My VS Code does not have a Java company, Java debugger. Java company is also part of it. So, in utilizing JD, Java developers, it's not directly utilizing Red Hat created one plugin. It's based on JDK. So, is this JDK, this Red Hat plugin, VS Code is using. If you go to the marketplace, sorry?
That is ordered by IBM itself, right?
Yeah.
Do they have a separate
Actually, this Red Hat plugin has some other features.
Okay.
So that's why Microsoft utilizing that. They could directly utilizing JDK.
I think this was developed before IBM acquired Red Hat.
Yes.
Yeah. So that makes
I've been contributing from 2004. Initially, it was developed by after just to
Red Hat only where Eclipse team undo.
Yes.
Okay. Separate teams are separate.
Yeah.
Red Hat people have the IBM.com email address or do they still use it?
Red Hat, what Madhuri?
No comments.
No comments. I don't have any.
I don't know, I don't discussion.
do they have an IBM or
Can you repeat?
HashiCorp?
It is not limited to such.
I only have newspaper knowledge. I only have newspaper knowledge. Actually, Red Hat people, contributing to open source. Yeah, I know some of them.
Okay, so the team is separate but they're contributing the same.
Yeah, we have no connection with them. The only thing is we have some connection, it's only through GitHub.
Okay.
And corporate. Sorry? And corporate. No, and corporate connections. No, we don't have. See, like that. Okay. Any other questions? Please ask.
So when you're starting, did you start with like very popular repositories? Sorry? When you were starting, did you start with like really popular repositories and
No. My full-time job is to contribute to this project. So when I joined this project, it's everything decided. So this I should
percent you're contributing?
Yes, I should work with these areas. See, I can change, but the thing is, there's no restriction. Only thing is that IBM has some, when any company has some criteria, we should, achieve the level of computer at least. So if I spend my time more with other repositories, I didn't receive much PRs. That maximum PRs level should receive first. Since I am a computer, there is no restriction. I can contribute to any projects, any repositories in Eclipse.
You said like we need to take this time to do the first PR, especially getting started. So like if we do not completely understand the system and then we are contributing something really like probably most of the popular repositories has their design patterns and everything. And there is like an opinionated choice they have made, probably not documented. So if we are not understanding this completely and making some PR, would it be considered like a spam?
No. See, if we are interested in one particular project, so I started my contribution to Eclipse JDK core. JDK core has different areas. This knowledge I should acquire somehow. That's not coding level. So once this coding level, I figure out that DOM area is the most easiest area, and compiler area is the most difficult area. So I prefer DOM area because I want to increase my PRs. So DOM is much important. The way is if we have a code, compiler compiles it first and send this information to DOM. Compiler has one AST. It's called abstract syntax features, three-line structure of the entire code. And we can't directly, all other components other than the JDK core, all other components utilizing this, we can get a standalone compiler also. It's called ECG. So if we provide all this information to outside world, there is a problem. People could manipulate the values, so it would malfunction the compiler. So what DOM does is create a copy of the compiler AST and create DOM AST. This DOM AST, this is also part, all these are part of JDK core. Other repositories, other projects, other areas will connect with JDK core and get the values. So these are the basic information I received, and I work with JDK core issues predominantly, and also in some projects it's called some tickets are tagged with feel good issues or fuss good issues. You can check GitHub, Eclipse or Node.js. So these first good or feel good issues are peculiarly effective, suitable for newbies, person who want to contribute. So
you are mentioning about AST. So where it is, what is the system of AST?
I can show you.
This is AST is used for some programming language, I think. So is it used for combination patterns?
Yeah, actually it's a structure like of the entire program. So we could analyze it. It's a structured representation of entire code. I can show you. Yeah, this is a perfect example, but this is dark theme. See, it's a Java code, and whatever you are seeing, this part of is the structured representation. This is all the data are AST. We are visualizing these data viewability. So these are basic codes with Java.
For representing the Java class, you are using the AST. Sorry? For representing the Java class, you are using the AST.
No, actually, AST, not this AST.
Why ID needs the AST?
Intelligence. So, first you have to understand there are two ASTs. Compiler AST. Compiler AST is the part of compiler itself. First, we have a plain text. Whatever we return is a plain text. So, first, this scanner part scan and it's tokenized, and the parser part parses it. Parses, which means, see, we have I don't have any other emails or nothing. I hope this is not proprietary work. It's not right. No. This is my child lecture, but now it's open source. So, this code, we were discussing about scan parser. So, imagine this code, each item, each and every item is considered as a node. Node, which means, see, I have around a big code, maybe 1,000 lines, and I don't know how to increase the font size. I have to check. The key thing is, the entire thing is a node, and inner items we split into different nodes, and so on. Finally, if we have a variable called in x equal to 10, that's also node, and then index, that's also node. So we are splitting into a tiny level. Then with the help of AST, and with AST we are converting into bundle. Okay. That's what compiler AST. And why we need this DOM AST? DOM AST's data is what you are seeing in the right hand side. So Eclipse is using for some other projects, some visualization purposes. So these data can be used there.
So what, like, when did you start contributing to Eclipse? Was it when you joined IBM or before IBM?
No, I heard about this Eclipse when I was studying my electronics and communication engineering first year. I see some, this logo was so nice with shade of sun, Eclipse. And after first year, there was no need for programming language in electronics and communication. And then when I joined IBM, I was working different projects. So after that, there was a requirement. Based on that requirement, they hired me. So they already decided 2% in this area, 2% in those areas should work. So I initially worked in this area, JDT core. Then later I switched to JDT debug area, which I show you what worked. So one of the issues I fixed in JDT debug, not one of, I think 12 or 13 issues I fixed in debug.
So also you mentioned about the Java community that you started.
Okay.
So most of the folks from IBM or no. One more question. So you said there are a few Java Eclipse contributors from Kochi, right?
Which one, Eclipse or OpenJDK?
So are those folks from IBM too, or they are from different companies?
I know 2 persons contributing to OpenJDK. One from an ex-Oracle guy. He is an organizer of Kochi Java User Group. And another person is IBM person. If you want to contribute to OpenJDK, then I can connect with that person to you. So see, that's an interesting thing. We started Kochi Java User Group. So initially, a majority of the attendees were IBMers. Then we can see a change. Majority of them are not IBMers. 2 weeks ago, we conducted one session here with Private Subramanian. He conducted 4 sessions. So in that session, there are only very less than 5 or 10, less than 10 attendees were from IBM. And also the interesting thing is, we have an IBMer, his name is Gautam. He sometimes takes sessions in Kochi.
Yeah, we have another Gautam, but he wasn't like that. So I was thinking.
So this person was working in a Java project in IBM. That's also an open source project, and he was keen interested in OpenJDK. And he connected with this organization. His name is Abdul. So with these two persons were passionate about Java, and with the help of Abdul Munir, Gautam received all the in OpenJDK the ranks are something different. If you raise 2 PRs, that person is known as author, and 10 or 15 PRs he became committer. Then maintainer, so with see, Gautam is passionate about technology, so with the help of this great person, he raised 2 PRs and currently he is an author. All these things are not with the help of corporate IBM or some other thing. The community, connection networking between the events. So similarly, if you want to contribute, you can. See, you are attending FOSS Meetup, so you have connection with different people.
Yeah, that's a plug as well because there is a Java user to Kochi, and he's one of the organizers of the meetup. And the idea is that we're planning to conduct more meetups in the future.
Yeah, actually, what in Java user group we conduct, our main intention was at least one event in a quarter. But last year we only conduct 3 events due to various reasons, and at least one offline meetup in a quarter and online meetup in a month. So last year we conducted around 3 offline meetup and 6 or 4 online meetups. But the thing is, in Java user group, the topics are only related to Java. Nothing is other than Java is not.
But now with AI, right?
Yeah, we can see.
So you see, the thing is that when a lot of people think about Java and they build new projects, they don't think of Java, C++ as their go-to language. They think of other things. So how would you sell Java? How would you sell
Java in 2 minutes?
This is like unique thing.
Sell Java.
I can give you many ideas. For example, we can start with frameworks. Java is robust. From my perspective, Java is hard to learn. My technical background initially from.
What about C or C++?
C++ is difficult compared to Java. JavaScript is super easy. I start my career with PHP, then Java, JavaScript, then Golang. Golang is very similar like C. Syntax almost like C. Yeah, so.
And with the AI, none of this is harder. With AI, none of this is harder.
Yeah, ChatGPT, yeah, super easy. ChatGPT or DeepSeek will help you to writing even the code. Don't help you.
No, you are sell Java.
For Java.
Sell Java in 2 minutes.
Oh, sell Java.
It's for now. So why should Python people try Java now?
See, we should start. Each I got your point. Now I got your point. Yeah.
So I cannot convince people to write new core projects in C and C++. They say no, that's not, it's too difficult. Same thing with Java. If you go to the customer, they'll say Java is not. Java is old. Yes.
Actually, Python is older than Java. 2 years older than Java. See, we have a requirement. We have a requirement. So the first thing is not all languages can resolve that issue. So C or C++ is very much better than PHP. But we need a web page. What will we do? We only have Apache server. We have to switch with PHP. We need a website. We can use Node.js only for backend. We can use some template engine. I don't remember the name. We can some extent, but
May I have some point? Basically, C and C++ is used for system level. For user level, or if we are creating some application, we mostly prefer for Java. It is because Java have a lot of packages that is ready to use. Then we have Java is an old technology, but now it is a very good into the latest technology. We are able to use different kind of technology in Java, something like reactive programming, event-driven programming. For example, even though we are using C, C++, work with the databases, we cannot use reactive in C++ because it mostly used ODBC, something like that. Yeah. ODBC, something like that. Java is upgrading with the technology. Now we are able to use Java with AA. I am not sure about the C++. Yeah, if the core part is C++, that's fine. But we cannot use C++ for a more interactive user applications. It might require some library. Java has a lot of library.
I think that this better one. There's money. Java has money, Java has jobs. I think that's a good convincing point.
I would like to add one more point.
I would like to add one more thing. Okay. Java is dead, don't leave JV. Java is dead, don't leave JV. Okay, that is one.
So the advantage of Java is see, we compile the code. Imagine we have a class file, Java class file. We can compile that same class file or it's OS dependent. That's what we can say. If I compile one code in PHP, Mac OS, and I can run the same thing in not run. I can use that binary.
Basically, portability. That was the selling point.
Right. So I studied C, C++ and all in my curriculum. This is 2000. 2001, I joined Technopark company as a Java developer. Java gave me career throughout, as you mentioned, portability, and I studied Java in an institute because Java was not part of the curriculum. See the way it has actually modernized things, the way of coding, right? The applets to the microservices, and now with the AI-enabled stuff and all, right? From the Java 5 to Java 25 kind of journey is
Android as well.
Android, right? The mobile app, I mean, it is like revolutionized the stuff, right? The object-oriented concepts and all, like becoming like very much into the common layer of stuff, right? So that's the, I get goosebumps still that Java gave me career, and still when I see when I hire Java programmers in my team, the way they are actually the latest technologies and all. When I attended Dr. Subramaniam's talk, it again made me more proud. But I'm an advocate for open source as well, but Java is something which is great part. Thank you.
Java licensing problem is licensing problem with Java being on Apple's. But there is a law. What happened to the lawsuit between Google and Apple? That Google lost, right? There was for Java, right? That lawsuit. Yeah, so regarding the Android is a different virtual machine. Have you seen? Android is using a register-based virtual machine. Okay, any other comments? Last question of Abdul. Everybody, last question of Abdul. Okay.
So does Eclipse support Copilot and all the new AI stuff?
We are working on that. Okay. We are working on that.
Very simple, not technical questions. Just out of curiosity, yes, and you are like Eclipse developer, I don't know, so you are using Eclipse. Why does your Eclipse have an IntelliJ logo in the title?
Actually, it's a bug. So, actually, it's a bug. Sometimes it's showing this one. This is something else. Yeah. So this is a bug only showing in my machine only. Sometimes it's showing Eclipse logo, sometimes Sublime logo, sometimes IntelliJ logo. Never show VS Code logo.
That is a macOS problem. Final bug.
Actually, I discussed this issue with my colleague. She is working in the UI part. They can't figure out what is the issue. This issue is only available in one.
Somebody wants to try this out. That would be a good first contribution. Send patches, not talking.
I can send this laptop details of this issue.
Is it an ideal laptop then?
Yeah, that's a problem. I can send you directly. Okay, so this is a bug. We don't know how to solve it.
Thank you
Thank you everyone for this session more interactive. Thank you for thank you again. Thank you for this.
Subin sir.
Final part of the final part. Okay, now we are going to do a Debian release party. I mean, Debian release. Yeah, I was looking at the Linus thing. So Linus recently did another thing. If you code a contribution garbage and say makes the world actively a worse place to live, obviously the controller will never come back to next level. Documentation, right? So there is this granny, what was her name? Andrea. These are Amici in the UK. Amici is the video. The open source or tutorial views subscribers and release video release not useful. It makes much more sense. When you're comfortable with the UI for a lot of years, you change the thing and it doesn't work on your computer anymore. It makes more sense, right? So Andrea is a good Linux YouTuber. She's not a techie person, but she's using as a prompt as well. So I got Debian is released and in 2 minutes then release notes so I should have cake. Why other cake? അത് പറഞ്ഞപ്പോഴാ ഒരു ഡെബിയൻ ഡെവലപ്പർ അപ്ലോഡ് ഡെബിയൻ ഡെവലപ്പർ അഭിജിത്ത് അഭിജിത്ത് 2 ലിസ്റ്റ് ലിസ്റ്റോട്ട് വായിക്കണോ അഭിജിത്ത് 2 6നെ കുറിച്ച് 2 കേക്കിനെ കുറിച്ച് 2 I'm Abhijit, so I'm also a Debian developer. Actually, we have 2 Debian developers here. There's Urbek. Urbek is from Germany. He's now on a long vacation here. Hope you all know the Debian project. No? Yeah. Anybody not know Debian project? Please raise your hand. So Debian is one of the oldest and the largest open source project, and we ship the Debian operating system, which is like running on a good part of the internet. I mean, yeah, so Ubuntu is based on Debian. Google uses Debian. Most of the metro trains actually using Debian. I heard that in Japan all the trains are using Debian. And like Suvin mentioned, some banks, ATM in here also run on Debian. So yeah, it's a big project, and I'm one of the official members of the project. Yeah, what else?
One doubt. You introduced yourself as a Debian developer. Are you contributing to that project now?
Yes, I contribute. So Debian developer is actually a title that they give once you have like done enough of,
some of the contributions. I'm sorry? So I got a job because I contributed to Debian. So I work for a company in France. They pay me to work on Debian. So the company is called Frixion. Anything you have to ask? Anything else?
I think one point is that somebody was, I don't know, Subi mentioned it in this slide as well, like IBM is using Eclipse 4 because you can get Java 8 support for 10 years. That was mentioned, right? Similarly, Debian, people don't like to upgrade their systems. So Debian has like LTS, I think is 3 years, right? Debian LTS?
Debian LTS is actually 5 years.
5 years. But stable release gets over 3 years now, right?
Yeah, it's a campaign. So Debian release 3 plus
3 extension. So some people doesn't like to upgrade. So what Ubuntu is making money, Canonical makes money by providing extra support on top of Ubuntu, and they extend the support to 10 years. 10 years now, right? Ubuntu has a 10-year support for Ubuntu Pro. So that is how they make a lot of money. And similar way how IBM is also making money. And Frixion is one of the non-canonical organizations that does the same thing.
Yeah, that's where I work.
And that pays it.
Wait, just so Frixion is like Debian Pro.
Yes, but not official side company.
Yeah, so recently we had a release. It's called Debian Frixion. So Subin got a cake for us. So we're gonna cut it and.
Debian project leader Debian package proposal contribute access commit access Debian അത് ലോകത്തിൽ 1000 പേരെങ്ങാണ്ടുള്ളൂ ഒരാളാണ് സമയത്ത്. അപ്പൊ അതിന്റെ സിസ്റ്റം കിട്ടി കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ യു കൻ ആക്ച്വലി സെൻഡ് വയർലെസ് ഇൻടു ഡെബിയൻ പാക്കേജ് റിപ്പോസിറ്ററി. സോ ഇത് ഫിസിക്കൽ ആണ്. കൂടുതൽ ചെയ്ത് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ഇത് അവരുടെ entire systems on me.
So my protocol is very different. I have my own like security keys and all. So don't worry, nobody can upload virus. No.
Targets usually are the support XC utils. Debian Debian unstable. ഇന്ത്യയിലെ ഡെവലപ്പർമാർ 15 പേരുണ്ട്. അതിന് അപ്ലോഡ് ആക്സസ് കമ്മിറ്റ് ആക്സസ് ഉള്ളത് 10 പേര്. I think 10 or 9 people. ഇത് കമ്മിറ്റ് ആക്സസ് അങ്ങനെ പാടാണ്. കുറെ പാക്കേജ് ആണ്, നല്ല വിശ്വാസമാണ്. ആൻഡ് ട്രസ്റ്റ് വരുമ്പോൾ അങ്ങനെ കമ്മിറ്റ് ആക്സസ് Yeah, 15 developers uploading it. Yeah, that's what we can cut the cake now, yes, right? Yeah. Or do you want to say something to me? Frixion was for an hour. Frixion was for an I'm still running Debian tour because I like the stability. ഡ്രൈവർ പ്രശ്നമായിരുന്നു. അത് ശരിക്കും പറഞ്ഞാൽ അൺസ്റ്റേബിൾ ആയിട്ടുള്ള ആൾക്കാർ വേണം. അൺസ്റ്റേബിൾ ആയിട്ടുള്ള ആൾക്കാർ ഉപയോഗിച്ചാൽ മാത്രമേ വൈറസസ് ആദ്യം അവിടെ കിട്ടിക്കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ അവര് ബഗ്ഗുകൾ റിപ്പോർട്ട് ചെയ്ത് എല്ലാവരും സ്റ്റേബിൾ ആക്കാൻ പറ്റുള്ളൂ. ആർട്ടിഫിഷ്യലി പ്രശ്നം ഉണ്ടായി റീസെന്റ്. ഡിസ്ക് ഡ്രൈവ് ബ്രേക്ക് ആവാൻ തുടങ്ങി. സംഭവം ആൻഡ് ഡിസ്ക് കംപ്ലൈന്റ് ആണെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞപ്പോഴാണ് ഡിഎസ് കർണലിൽ പ്രോബ്ലം നടന്നത്. അങ്ങനെ കർണലിൽ ഫിക്സ് ചെയ്ത് പിന്നെയാണ് ടാക്സ് വരുന്നത്. സോ മോർ പീപ്പിൾ അൺസ്റ്റേബിൾ റൺ ചെയ്യുക, ഞങ്ങളെ പോലെ സഹായിക്കുക. കൂളറായിട്ട് ഇതിനെ കുറിച്ച് ഡെഫിനൻസ് ചെയ്യുക. ഇതിപ്പോഴാണ് 995 വെച്ചാൽ തോന്നും, പക്ഷേ ഇതൊരു ഓഫറാണ്. ഞാൻ പണിതുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുകയാണ്. എന്റെ ഒരു ഇപ്പത്തെ പോയിട്ട് ഞാനിപ്പോ 2 മാസത്തെ ജോബേഴ്സ് ആണ്. ഐ മീൻ ഞാൻ ഒരു കരിയർ ബ്രേക്കിലാണ്. ഫാൻസി വേർഡാണ് നമ്മളൊക്കെ. ഞാൻ ഇപ്പോഴത്തെ കറക്റ്റ് ഒരു മാസത്തെ പരിപാടി എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ ഈ വെബ്സൈറ്റ് ഫുള്ള് മാറ്റിയിട്ട് വേർഡ് ഉണ്ടാക്കിയിരിക്കുന്നത്. ഓൾവേസ് ഓഫ് മനസ്സിലായി. ഓൾവേസിൽ വീഡിയോ ചെയ്തിട്ട് അത് പ്ലേ ചെയ്യാം.
ഇവിടെ ഓടിയിട്ട് നോക്കി
ഒരു 15 കൊല്ലം മുമ്പ് ഒരു സീരീസ് കണ്ടവരുണ്ടോ? നല്ല ഓഡിയൻസ്. അങ്ങനെ കഴിച്ചിട്ട് ഒരു ഇൻഷുറൻസിന് ഒരു പരസ്യമുണ്ട്. യു ഹാവ് എ കാർ ബട്ട് നോ ഇൻഷുറൻസ്. ആ പരസ്യത്തിന്റെ റെഫറൻസ് ആണ് അതാണ് ചോദിച്ചത്. ഞാൻ ഷോ ദാറ്റ് then you show yours. Yes. സൗണ്ട്
You have a house, but no insurance. You have a car, but no insurance. You have a life, but no insurance. I have ready for you. Last 20 years, we are serving Malayali community in North America. We have several dedicated employees working. We use technology. We have computer background staffs from Malayalam communities to American communities. We have 100% reliable and dependable services in all over in the United States. Take Model Insurance Corporation. Satisfaction guarantee and definitely. Now we are covering dog also. You have
ഇതിൽ ശരിക്കും ഇൻസ്പിറേഷൻ രാജീവിലെ കുറച്ച് പിള്ളേരായിരുന്നു. രാജീവിലെ കുറച്ച് പിള്ളേർ ഇതിന്റെ റീമേക്ക് മലയാളത്തിൽ അപ്പൊ അത് കണ്ടപ്പോഴാണ് അതുപോലെ ഇതിന്റെ ഒരു ഫോട്ടോ കൂടെ ഉണ്ടാക്കാൻ വെച്ചാൽ 2-3 ഫോട്ടോ ഉണ്ടാക്കിയത്. അപ്പൊ അങ്ങനെ എല്ലാ കൊല്ലം ഡെബിയുടെ ആനുവൽ കോൺഫറൻസ് ഉണ്ട്. ഡെവലപ്പേഴ്സ് ഓൺ മീറ്റ് സെക്യൂരിറ്റി ത്രെഡ്സ് എവരിവൺ. സോ ഇവരെല്ലാവരും കൂടെ മീറ്റ് ചെയ്ത് കോൺഫറൻസ് നടത്താറുണ്ട്. 23 നമ്മളെ ഹോസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്ത ഇന്ത്യ ആദ്യം ഹോസ്റ്റ് 23-ലായിരുന്നു. ഇവിടെ ഷെറാട്ടണിലും ഇൻഫോപാർക്കായിട്ടാണ് ഹോസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്തത്. ഇത്തവണ കോൺഫറൻസ് ഫ്രാൻസിലായിരുന്നു. അപ്പൊ ഞങ്ങൾ കുറച്ച് ഇന്ത്യയിൽ നിന്ന് പോയിട്ടുണ്ടായിരുന്നു. അഭിന്റെ ഞാൻ അഭിലായിരുന്നു. അപ്പൊ അന്ന് കോൺഫറൻസ് ശരി നമുക്ക് ഈ വീഡിയോ റെക്കോർഡ് ചെയ്യാം. വെറുതെ ചുമ്മാ തോന്നുന്നത് ചെയ്യാം. വെസ്റ്റേൺ സ്ഥലത്തിന്റെ പേര് വെസ്റ്റേൺ സൈഡ് ഓഫ് ഫ്രാൻസ്. The place is called Brittany. And so we thought like we should make that recreation of the video. So do it.
You have a computer, but no freedom.
You have a mobile, but no freedom.
You have a life, but no freedom. I have ready for you.
last 30 years we have been
international community. We have several dedicated volunteers working 24 hours a day. We use technology. We have computer background staffs. From local communities to the international community, we have 100% customer satisfaction, reliable and dependable
Satisfaction guaranteed.
And definitely.
Now we are
Video, they will officially post it, so that's pretty nice. Because then what? കൈ കൊടുത്താവുന്നല്ലോ അതാണ് ഡെസിൻ പ്രൊജക്ട് ചെയ്തത് ആൻഡിയൻസിലെ പുള്ളിയുടെ ഷോട്ടാണ് ആദ്യം എടുത്തത്. പുള്ളി മറ്റേ ഒറിജിനൽ എടുക്കുന്നത് ഒരു വെള്ളക്കാരനായിട്ട് എടുക്കുന്നുണ്ടല്ലോ, അതുപോലെ തന്നെ കിട്ടി ഏറെ കിട്ടിയെന്ന് മനസ്സിലാക്കിയിട്ടാണ് ആ വീട് ഫുൾ ആയിട്ട് കംപ്ലീറ്റ് ചെയ്ത് മനസ്സിലാക്കിയത്.
It's all yours.
No, we want you to be a professional. Okay, that's
Our Debian developers, they are the
Do you want to join me here?
Okay, let's get to it. Yeah. Ma'am, please.
It's here, it's in the edge here. Okay, so we take this over there and take this and we cut it over there.
Group photo എടുക്കണ്ടേ?
Group photo എടുക്കണം. അപ്പൊ group photo എടുത്തിട്ട് നമുക്ക് പോകാം. അപ്പൊ group photo എടുക്കാൻ എല്ലാവരും ഒന്ന് ഫ്രണ്ടിലോട്ട് വരാം.
ലൈവ് സ്ട്രീം എൻഡ് ചെയ്താ